Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again and again and again. We are super excited today. Brain damage sports today. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And weirdly, oddly, with a guy who used his brain before that. So we get to see how far it went, let's just say. Crazy stuff. But before that, very quickly, just want to thank everyone for your reviews this week. That purple icon, Apple Podcasts, they help for some reason.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Exactly. Thank you. We need them. They help a lot. Give us 5 stars. Helps drive us up the charts for some reason. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for all your merchandise. How much cool merch do we have?
It's everywhere.
Stuff up there. All sorts of things. You can follow the show and everything like that. Get updates on later on in the year, live shows, all that sort of good, fun stuff. Also, you definitely want to get on Patreon. Let me tell you guys something right now. Our Patreon episodes are awesome. They are hilarious. The last Patreon episode was on kind of the real Goodfellas, the mafia stuff, which we had so much fun with that, as we always do with anything mafia. And then the upcoming Patreon, we are going to do something very fun and not murdery and just outside the box. We're going to do the worst wrestling characters in the history of wrestling.
Tremendous.
So we're just going to spend some time talking about the most ridiculous
bad
gimmicks ever. And Jimmy hasn't seen a lot of these too, so I'll show him crazy pictures.
Great.
It's going to be so much fun. You can get that and everything else, all of the bonus episodes, including all the Small Town Murder bonus episodes, all of that at patreon.com/crimeandsports. Everything right there. Anybody above the $5 level. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name at the end of the show. Why? Because you're a producer now.
That's right.
And we can't thank you enough for doing all of that. And if you just want to be a producer, get your name mispronounced, and you don't care about bonus content. You're interested in karma.
Yeah.
You're interested in your soul, damn it. Well, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com over there. And we thank you, honestly, for everything that you guys do for us.
Did
Everybody.
you ever know that you're my hero?
It is tremendous what you people do for us. So we really do appreciate it, and we cannot thank you enough for everything you do for us. That said, we would like to do stuff for you.
Yeah.
And this week we'd like to present you with a brain damage sport.
Great.
And it's a lot of fun. So let's get right into it. Let's do this. It's a British fellow this week, which is amazing. His name is Terry Marsh.
Yeah.
Okay. He does not look, sound, behave like a boxing you would not expect to come out of this guy. Put it that way. It's very strange.
It's a gentleman's sport.
Well, his nickname is the Fighting Fireman.
Well,
because he's a fireman.
Yeah.
As well as
blue collar.
He's a military guy that then went into the fire department and then decided, I should box.
Yeah, I've been beating up fires.
You know what's not dangerous enough? Fire.
Yeah.
I feel like when something's burning, that's not
doesn't hit back
as dangerous as if you know what I should do? If I could really get my brain scrambled, then run into a burning building and be confused, that's the type of action that I'm looking for. That's better. So, he's born February 7th, 1958. He's born in Stepney, East London. Now, this area, I looked up this area a little bit just to see, because London's very different. Parts of the city are very different. So I was like, is this the shit part? Is he posh? What is he? So he's not. I found out, not posh at all. He's this area was built up in the 1800s, basically for immigrant workers and poor people. This was just thrown together. This was like the 5 Points or something, like, in New York City. Like, they threw it together to stick people in there to have places to live, and developed a reputation for violence and overcrowding, and became
it's a shit area.
Became a ghetto area. So it was severely damaged during the the blitzkriegs that
shelling,
were happening,
yeah.
Germans, and shit structures. If you bomb all around them a lot, they'll just fall right to the ground.
All you needed to do was kick it. You didn't even have to shoot that at it.
That's what I mean. A bomb, forget about it. Over a third of the housing was totally destroyed in that area. And then in the 1960s, they did a slum clearance and development project to clear, kind of like in the, was it the third season of The Wire? They're knocking down 221. I think it's one of those things.
That's a terrible way to word it, though.
Slum clearance. Slum clearance, everybody. Clearing the slums. Back out, fuckers.
That's insulting.
Clear them out. Let's go. Move them out.
What are you on this street for? We're here for the slum clearance. Yeah, but this isn't the slums.
You are.
Oh, okay. All right.
March.
So I got to go.
Oh.
I'm going to fuck off?
All right, then. All right, then.
Yeah.
I've got to go, isn't it?
And I guess this is where I leave, isn't it?
Isn't it? Okay. It's the slum clearance, isn't it? And
I didn't know we were the slum till y'all showed up.
And told us you were clearing it. This development replaced most of the streets with tower blocks and modern housing. There was a bunch of old shit.
That's how I found out we were a slum.
Isn't it? So,
boy.
In 1965, the Rolling Stones song Play with Fire referenced this area in terms of its poorness.
It's just all shit.
The lyric is apparently it's an heiress whose wealth has been carried off by her husband, and it's, quote, gets her kicks in Stepney, not in Knightsbridge anymore.
It's all fucked out.
Now she's all fucked out in Stepney. Bad times. This is the area he's from. He's from a rundown shit area here. So he's this is so contradictory to how he says it, though. I just told you all that, including a Rolling Stones lyric, and then here is
my childhood was roses.
It's better than that. He wrote a book called Undefeated, and we'll talk about it. I'm going to quote from Undefeated several times. By the way, we'll probably be sued for this episode. This guy sues everybody.
Really?
Funny thing is, he sues British people, not. First of all, we're American, so we don't have the same libel laws as you. So, haha. Second of all, this is comedy. So anything that we say can be construed as a joke. So either way, you can save your shit. And we have an agent with a lawyer and stuff. So you're really wasting your fucking time if you sue us.
He just sues people.
Sit back and take it on the chin, Chief. Put it that way. Just like in boxing. Take it on the fucking chin.
How many times did he lose?
But he wins some, he loses some.
So
in
undefeated
court,
is dumb.
No. In boxing, we'll talk about it. But in court, he's not quite undefeated. Here and there, he doesn't win. So he says, this is from the book, quote, I had the best start in my life that any kid could hope for.
Yeah.
So exactly the opposite.
In the slums.
In the slums. He says that he loved his parents, called them wonderful. Maisie and Jimmie Marsh are their names. He's the third of four children.
Okay.
Here, he said there was Jimmie Jr., of course. There's got to be. Billy, and then John is his kid brother. And there you go.
Okay.
So basically, she had problems with the first child.
Mom did?
With Jimmie Jr. And there's something wrong there. I guess the pregnancy wasn't quite right, and this is back in the 50s, the early 1950, I think this Jimmie was born. So wasn't quite the same way to tell what's going on inside somebody. You just kind of whatever pops out. Let's hope it doesn't have a tail and a horn, and we'll work with whatever else it is. And that's basically what it was. I mean, we'll work with it. So
we can shave those off anyway.
We'll get it down.
Yeah.
We'll at least just kind of scrape them down a little bit. Here, apparently, Jimmie ended up having a slower development, and after a while, as I don't know what his technical condition is. I just have to go. The quote of the book is, quote, Jimmie was mentally retarded.
Okay.
So either way, he's got
some brain damage.
He's got some handicaps here, and he there's some disabilities here. So he I guess he can't ever take care of himself. He lives with mother and father for the rest of his life. It's pretty severe.
My goodness.
So yeah, that's rough. So I guess this made Terry pretty angry. Really? He said that this angered him. He didn't understand why his older brother was like that, and he felt like he was upset that this was like his mother had to deal with this so much, and he just felt terrible. Like he talks about a story when he's older about his brother and just having like this fit, and he felt so bad that his parents felt so bad that his mom had to deal with this and that his brother had to deal with it. He just felt terrible about the whole thing.
Sure.
He said that he often, as a quote from the book, I often found myself standing up to other kids who had seen my brother as a source of amusement.
Good.
On some occasions, the perpetrators were icons of hardness within the area, and my challenges to them were moments of madness. Yet on such occasions, it was they who blinked first. So he also says, I'm sure I would have got the shit beaten out of me, but something in it they didn't want to. I guess if you're fucking making fun of a fucking disabled kid,
right,
and making fun of him, you know what you're doing. And I guess if his brother,
his able-bodied brother who's willing
8 years
fight,
younger,
right,
is another thing. You know, if you're 17 and this fucking 9-year-old who's super mad that you're making fun of his eye, you're just like, yeah, all right, get out of here. I guess you'd have to be a real piece of shit to then beat the fuck out of his little brother after you called him a fucking names. That's really a monster. Are you
extra low?
That's extra low, man. Yeah, somebody. But, fucking knocking Forrest Gump down and kicking Sally Field in the twat and being like, how do you like that, Forrest, you fucking mental midget? Not the same, it's not nice.
Hysterical.
So, he said that he, it was kind of a small little terrace house he grew up in with his brothers, and one of the brothers having problems. So it's an active house, let's just say.
James, the best start that a child can have.
It's the best ever he could have hoped for.
Oh, my.
And no matter what, 4 brothers is madness and chaos in a house. You could have 8,000 square feet, and your house would be madness.
It's never clean.
Boys.
It's a mess,
and everywhere they will make sure. Get over it. That's not messy yet. Come on. No, that's already fucked up. Come over here. It's not sticky over here yet. Let's get some ants. Let's get some real sticky. I'm going to spill the high C.
Put an open Mountain Dew in your pocket and run circles.
Put your juice box down and then step on it by accident. Okay. Cool. I'll go everywhere then. Just all over the fucking place.
Take the straw and put it in it and blow, and then stomp on it.
Boom, it'll make a really cool noise.
It's awesome.
And the straw will go in the backyard.
Right through the drywall.
Right through it. You could kill a man with
You
could kill a man with a juice box straw.
You can.
Stepped on like that. The way it comes out.
One of those fucking Capri Sun straws, those things are nasty.
Those things are
hard.
And
they're sharp.
They're sharp. Yeah, you have to poke them through a foil plastic thing, which is what a strange delivery system for a drink that is.
What a dumb decision.
Tell you what, we'll put it in a bag.
Right.
Because everyone likes to drink their drinks out of bags. Okay, I get it. They're trying to be distinctive. That's the Capri Sun. We're the bag juice, all right?
Bag juice. And the bag has like a little crevice on the bottom that you can fold it flat and stack them, or you can pop that little...
And stand it up.
Sit it right up.
Like a cup, but it doesn't stand up.
But it's not a cup.
If you take one sip out of it, it'll fall over because then the weight's distributed wrong. But the straw itself... is this sharp little straw, but then it bends because it's thin at the end, and you have to poke it through the plastic. And as you're poking it, you're like, plastic's going to go in my drink or up my straw. I'm definitely going to inhale plastic on my
one way or another.
Yeah, and it doesn't go in right, and then it's too big, it's too small. You can put it in sideways, you fuck it all up.
Go right through the whole fucking package.
Go right through.
How many times I've done that?
Yeah, go
my goddamn kids.
God damn it, son of a bitch.
I'm much stronger than I was when I was 9.
I remember,
I have destroyed those things.
I remember being on a field trip when I was in elementary school and having a Capri Sun on the field trip and bringing it from home and being fucking so scared to put the straw in because I'm like, if I fuck this, I got one shot at
this. One chance.
If I fuck this up, I got no Capri Sun. So I remember being real oh man, I was sweating it hard.
Eminem and Lose Yourself is rapping about you trying to open a Capri Sun.
That's what it is. It's me just fuck, man. I could blow this whole thing.
There should be a TikTok of somebody with that song. Yeah.
I could bend the tip and the shit won't open. My life is over, man.
You know, that pairs well with mom's spaghetti.
That's what it does. That's what Dave Chappelle says anyway. So he says, quote, I knew from an early age what it was like to be a champion.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I still don't know what it's like to be a champion.
I'd like to know.
I was only 9 years old when I gained my first title.
What?
I will always remember my first words as champ. Checkmate.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was the East London chess champion.
At 9.
East London and chess, some say, was incongruous because not really the biggest chess thing in the world. He says, was I the best of a bad bunch? I proved the doubters wrong when at aged 11 years, I became the London champion.
Oh,
so he claims Yeah, I guess he claims he was the London chess champion of his age bracket, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to really check up on that. Yeah. I can't find the London youth chess brackets from the 1960s. It's not really prominently displayed online, unfortunately.
I'll take his word for it.
But you know what? Yeah. It's so specific.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Probably the guy.
And if not,
whatever. Was the champion going to dispute it?
No, but you know what? Works for our purposes because it's pretty fucking interesting.
I
mean, honestly, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, he was. This is before he started boxing or anything. He does that. I guess his father had done a little bit of boxing. The way he puts it, everybody in the neighborhood has. He just says, like everybody else, my dad did. He said that his father had won a schoolboy title. Oh. So younger, it's like a junior title.
Beats up schoolboys?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's how many schoolboys. It's not beating up schoolboys specifically. It's the number of schoolboys you can beat up at the same time. Right. There's a certain title for that. He got the most. He got the most. 93. I believe he was up to 14, which is it's an impressive amount. At that point, it's every angle, so you really got to be.
And schoolboy, it's a wide definition. It's anywhere from kindergarten to 8th.
You got to watch out because some kids are coming at you. They're 5'11". You got some kids coming at your ankles, so you could be punching one kid. You got a couple of kindergartners attacking your feet. You got to be careful. You look down to get them. Here comes an 8th grader. It's rough.
That's a better sport.
I'd watch that sport.
For sure.
I totally watch that sport. Horrible as it is and horrible as it would be to watch a grown man punch children. If there's 14 of them, I feel less bad for them. They're almost like ninjas in a Bruce Lee movie. Like he's just kicking them, they fall down, more come. It's just
foot soldiers constantly fell when the Ninja Turtles beat them up.
That's what I'm saying. Stormtroopers, they're pawns.
Yeah.
Either way, little kitty pawns.
They're disposable.
There for the punching. So, he said he won a schoolboy title, and he apparently. He said that this is from the book, quote, a title he achieved whilst wearing my grandmother's bloomers.
What?
Mom always was quick to inform me.
Ruffles on the ass?
I don't know why he was wearing his mom's underwear while he was fighting.
The hell's he
Ma,
doing?
I got to fight. Give me your underwear.
I don't have any shorts, Ma.
What? I need your bloomers, isn't it? What? You need what now? Why the fuck are you wearing my underwear?
All I've got is jeans.
Yeah, I don't. Just put them on under your shorts.
All I've got is all this corduroy.
It's just all this corduroy. He says that he lived. His dad lived in Stepney for 48 years. He said that his mom basically just was trying to give to everybody else and keep the family going. If you have 4 sons and one of them is special needs, like very special,
that's exhausting.
Extra special needs, we'll say. That's a lot. So she doesn't have time to have any aspirations at this point. She's just got to keep everything afloat, is the way he puts it anyway. She said that her life revolved around her kids, and she said one of her many tasks was the twice weekly visits to Ratcliffe Baths. Yeesh. It was here that the washing was done.
Gross.
I think they mean
it's like a laundromat.
It's a laundromat. Yeah, I was going to say that's not like a. But I don't think they're taking the family down there to hose off. I think this is a laundromat.
But I think they actually do it by hand.
Probably back then.
That's horrible.
He said, Mom always had a lot of washing in the first 20 years of motherhood, mainly due to Jimmie's bedwetting. Also, his brother has problem with that, his special needs brother. He says the sleeping arrangements were cramped. Mom and Dad would sleep in the upstairs front bedroom while we kids were in the rear room. I shared a bed with younger brother John while the other siblings had their own beds.
Yeah.
The lack of space dictated that all the beds were squashed together. This did not make for an easy task when it came to making them. He said that he always, everybody always still had to keep their beds very neat and clean. Mom kept order among the house. It wasn't like, do whatever you want. That wasn't the way it went down.
Perhaps Jimmie did that just so that he had his own bed.
Maybe, yeah.
I would.
I think they were going to make sure that nobody had to sleep with Jimmie. He says this. Here's a quote from the book. Quote, I don't know how else, I can't paraphrase this. Quote, the nocturnal toilet was a bucket. Right away when I said nocturnal toilet, Jimmie goes, he knows something gross is coming up. He's like, oh no, I see poop.
Yeah.
I see poop. He says the nocturnal toilet was a bucket sited on the small landing. So we're in the shit bucket territory here, Jimmie. This is some Phillips, Oklahoma, fucking United Kingdom.
It's not good.
Not good. It was either too cold or dark to visit the toilet at the bottom of the yard. The backward sanitation was further highlighted by the absence of a bath. The best we could do was a sink in the kitchen.
Oh my God, they're doing sitz baths and
yeah,
sink?
This is some like Dust Bowl.
This is bad.
This is bad. This is in the 60s.
Right.
This isn't in the fucking 20s.
No.
I get it in the 20s or something.
The Beatles are jamming.
Oh, they're the biggest thing in the world right now. Yeah, this is wild. A gas-fired contraption referred to as the geyser heated the cold water that run from the mains. I don't know what the hell. I guess that was the hot water heater.
Yeah.
The gas was on a meter, and when the 2 bobs, 10 pence worth had been extracted, the geyser would go out.
Oh no!
So it's like on
You've got
a
like
limiter.
a pay-as-you-go.
Yeah, like
when you use it all up, you used it all up.
Yeah, I've heard, by the way, of people in Phoenix having that.
Really?
With
pay as you go?
SRP, where they have they have to pay their electric, like they have like a thing they pay it through.
Load it up, and then when you use it, shuts off. Fuck that!
Yeah, like a prepaid electricity thing.
I don't know how that's possible.
People that have like that had bad credit out here. I'm like, that seems horrible though. Then it just goes out. It's like, well, I don't know. Put $5 in the slot if you'd like to fucking your kids to do their homework. Like, what a weird.
You're in the middle of the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
Any fucking thing else that you're watching?
What is going on, man?
And you got food on the stove.
Yeah,
the water's boiling. The macaroni's in it.
I've heard people saying that they had to go pay their put $10 on their electricity or some shit so they could go have electric today.
I just put the noodles in the water and it shut off.
Will you put $5 in the electricity? I'm trying to cook dinner.
Can you load? How do we do it?
Dude,
load up the card.
That's miserable, man.
Can you just call and do it?
I don't know how you do it.
Oh my God, I have so many questions.
This was like maybe 10 years ago, and I think there was an actual like a contraption in your home.
Oh my!
Like they gave you like a fucking box that you could like pay into. And like you could like put your card in, and
I hate that.
It sounds awful, right?
Does.
It's the fucking worst.
Oh,
it's worse than slum clearance.
Just pay your bills and don't get into this.
Jesus
don't
Christ!
Have bad credit.
So we were in the same position as most down our street, but our family was larger, and my parents also had the additional problem of Jimmie's bedwetting, along with his poor personal hygiene in general. So it was a problem. Just all 4 kids. The family ends up moving to a nicer area.
Yeah.
Okay. The dad gets a job here. Gets a job as a lock keeper at Tilbury Dock. It's about 20 miles away. Uh-huh. So it's a nicer area. It's Basildon in Essex. Mm-hmm. So a little better area. And it was nice. He said he wasn't sad about leaving. He wanted to move, He said, our new house had 4 bedrooms, a dining room, a sunroof, a large fitted kitchen, and 2 toilets.
Wow.
We also had a garden instead of a yard.
You lucky bastard.
So he got, this is the dream. I mean,
Moving on up.
Yeah, this is feeling good. This is has to feel amazing. 4 bedrooms, too. The kids got their own rooms. You got probably the 2 younger kids probably share one, but still.
Still, the beds aren't touching.
I was going to say, you're not crammed in with all the other beds, and, that's good. So, and, more room, everything like that, probably helpful for mom. Mm-hmm. So, Marsh here, Terry, goes to Westminster City School between 1969 and 1971. And this is when, after that, he goes into the Royal Marines.
All right.
He served in Cyprus and in, what is this? Crossmaglen in Northern Ireland during that whole...
That was a thing?
Kerfluffle. Well, there was the whole, the Northern Ireland and all. There's a lot of fighting going on and shit like that. So, a lot of dust up. Christ, the 80s was a fucking disaster.
In Ireland?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was a crazy time, man.
I thought post the potato famine, you could just go kiss a stone and drink a Guinness and everybody's happy.
Remember, have you ever heard like U2's whole first album? It's all like...
That was all strife there?
It's all Irish strife. Sunday Bloody Sunday is fucking Sunday Bloody Sunday. I mean, it's about, it's all a lot of bad stuff going on there. I don't think
I knew that.
No, wow, interesting. Well, now you learn something new on Crime and Sports every goddamn day, don't you? Here. So he says at that point... He's watching TV, and he says, quote, I saw an advert asking if you could hack it, offering the Green Berets as a reward. Oh. So I ended up boxing for the Navy.
Awesome.
So, yeah, he's in the Royal, he also is a Royal Marine, it says here, and he served, like I said, in those places. He said that I won 3 national amateur titles. I got the best of both worlds, as I also had the soldiering in Northern Ireland with the United Nations. And they asked him if he ever shot anyone. This is in an interview.
Yeah.
And he said, I was shot at, but never actually had to shoot anyone. We had to what you call win the firefight. You have to put rounds down, but collectively, I think some cows were killed. Oh. So, yeah, they just basically had to
put rounds down range.
Firepower enough to make people go away.
Yeah.
That's all. So let's show that. So later on, after the military, he becomes a firefighter with Essex County Fire and Rescue Service. So, yeah, that's what he does there. And while he's doing that, he wants to box, because he boxed while he was a kid coming up here and there, too. He boxed in the Navy. He won amateur titles. So he decides he wants to have a career here.
Yeah.
And he does it. He's 5'10".
Okay.
He does not look like a boxer.
No, he's a little guy.
He's a super lightweight. Eventually, he'll move up to welterweight. Want to see him while he's an amateur?
Love it. That little guy?
Look at him.
Oh, he just looks like a pissed off little kid.
A little skinny kid.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he does not look
mad.
Does not look like a man that you would be afraid of.
No.
He looks like you'd go, oh.
Not much.
Come on.
A little fight in that kid, but
yeah,
I'm not scared.
Calm down. Yeah. He says, quote here, quote, I talk about my boxing career, about the skinny, anemic, frail-looking 11-year-old who could not punch, was always getting in with bigger guys, and would always look like he was fighting his own dad in most of these fights up to a certain age. People thought that I would eventually get beaten, but because I looked so frail, people probably looked at me and thought they could blow me over. The truth was that the frailness made me elusive, and they couldn't knock me over. Suddenly, they would be a few rounds down in the 4-round fight, and I would nick the decision. So he just wears people down. They don't expect him to be any good, and they're like, I can't hit this little bastard.
Yeah.
So his amateur career, 1973, he's a junior ABA champion. 74, he's the same. 1974, he's also the national schoolboy champion.
He's getting it.
Wow, he's the national. How many schoolboys do you think he has to beat up at once to do that? That's got to be 15,
National?
16 schoolboys for the whole country. Holy shit.
They can only be British, right?
I believe so.
You can't really beat up the Greeks.
No, you can't just import schoolboys. You have to beat up, like...
You got to do your own.
You have to homegrown schoolboys.
Right.
What are you going to fucking beat up? Yeah. We're
Clear the slums.
Import Belgians to beat up? No one's going to give you their children to kick. That's a British thing.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be involved in it.
He's the champion 3 times over now.
Yeah, 73, 74, and then also 74, the schoolboy champion. So two different
types, right?
Yeah. 1976, he's the NABC champion. Sounds important.
Yeah.
Sounds like national and boxing are probably in there, so that's good. I don't know what A and C stand for, but whatever.
Not American Boxing
Not
Coalition.
American Boxing Commission. Yeah, that's what it is. And then the 1978 ABA lightweight champion he is as well. So he's doing pretty fucking well. He starts his amateur career here on April 19th, 1978, that I could find anyway. Sure. I mean, he was fighting all those fights, obviously, but kind of we have like a few fights here. April 1978, this is at King's Hall in Bellevue, Manchester.
Sounds big.
Versus John McAllister.
Okay.
This sounds very British.
This is the most British fight ever.
Terry Marsh versus John McAllister. They just go around, isn't it, and punching each other.
How's that feel, isn't it?
Isn't it? How's that feel, huh? This is McAllister's debut as well. McAllister will eventually go on and be 11-1-2 as a pro.
Oh.
So, yeah. Now, this is he wins by points. Yeah, wins a decision by points, Terry does. So he's 1-0 as an amateur. He's always winning a lot of decisions by points, as we'll find out. He doesn't knock anybody out, ever. May 5th, 1978, he fights at the Wembley Arena. I don't know if that's like
it's a big deal,
I don't
right?
think that's... I think there's
a side room?
I was going to say, it's probably a side room, like Felt Forum for Madison Square Garden or something like that.
Can't possibly be fighting at Wembley.
I don't think 80,000 people are coming
for
to
your
see...
second fight?
That skinny kid fight Edward Gagne.
Never heard of either.
Yeah, no. Well, Gagne is 1-0 coming in, and then Terry beats him here, and then he never fights again on any level. So that's why you've never heard of Edward Gagne. Oh, that one guy who was 1-1 as an amateur?
Yeah.
He's so this makes him 2-0. He wins by points again, Terry. Terry's, I guess, Gagne was won a lightweight division title because it was in a tournament thing. So for that. May 4th, 1979. So this is a year later.
Right.
So 78 he fought, and then almost a year to the day later, here at the Wembley Arena again, he fights Eddie Copeland. And this is Eddie Copeland's debut. It's his only amateur fight, but then he's a 10-1 as a pro.
Wow.
So he turns out to be a decent pro. This one, Terry loses on points.
Shit.
So he's a 2-1 as an amateur. Next fight, May 2nd, 1980. So another year. So he fights every May, basically.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Like, how do you expect to get better if you're fighting every May? He fights Eddie Byrne, who's 2-0 coming in, and this is the last fight of his life. Eddie Byrne never fights again on any level.
Maybe he didn't want to wait another fucking year.
I think so. No, not Terry. Yeah, Eddie. Yeah. Eddie waited for him. Terry beats him by points, and Eddie is discouraged. Maybe he sees this skinny little shit, and he's like, if that guy beat me, I can't be a pro fighter.
I'm clearly never going to be the best.
Seriously.
Yeah.
He's retired a couple of people here and so far. He wins by points again, 3-1 now. He also is the 1980 ABA welterweight champion, the 81 ABA welterweight champion, and he's the 1981 multi-nations gold medalist in Manila.
Oh.
Terry is. So somehow he gets it done. His next fight, May 2nd, 1981. He literally fights May of 78, 79, 80, and 81.
Wild.
So strange. I don't know why that is here. He fights Chris Pratt. And
I would love to also.
I know, right? Come on, motherfucker.
Come
what
on,
you got?
Fucking dork.
Well, this guy, I don't know if you'd want to fight this Chris Pratt.
No?
This Chris Pratt, it's his debut, but as a pro, he went 46-5.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he'd probably kick both of our asses,
Jesus.
I would assume.
The only way the real Chris Pratt's doing that is if it's in the script.
Oh, it's got to be in the script. And even then, he'd stop and go, should we tone it down a little? I feel like
we should be a little nicer to each other.
Like, I'll take a couple of shots, right? We'll do like a Rocky thing.
Fucking jerk.
So he wins by points here. So he's 4-1 is Terry in the amateurs. He also won a multi-nations gold medal representing England in the Philippines in 81. So he's doing very well for himself. Decides, why not turn pro?
Yeah.
Gotta turn pro here. He's got his promoter, too. He's got this promoter who's kind of Frank Warren is his name. He's kind of this kind of real... kind of brash kind of guy. He's got rumored to be like, hanging out with gangsters and all that. She's a boxing promoter, so scumbag.
Yeah.
Scumbag basically. I haven't met any real scrupulous boxing promoters. Right. I haven't heard of any. I really haven't. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's, my opinion, but fuck.
I mean, you're basically saddled with the burden of lying constantly.
You kind of...
You have to lie.
Well, you're promoting.
Right. You got to stretch the truth. You're trying to get an audience.
Well, plus you're trying to, there's a lot of ends. There's money that comes in that goes all the different ways, and you're trying to slice out the biggest part just for you. So there's a certain level of scum that comes with that.
You got to canoe your own piece.
That's what it is. It's a certain level of something.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
So his pro debut, October 12th, 1981, at the Bloomsbury Center Hotel in Bloomsbury, where dreams come true, Jimmy, versus Andrew Acosta, who is 0-1 coming in, and this is his last fight ever.
Okay.
So this is a win by decision for Terry. He's 1-0. October 28th, so 2 weeks later, he fights in Town Hall in Acton versus Dave Sullivan, who is like a 5-8 coming in. He's garbage. So he wins by points. Terry does 2-0.
All right.
So he's cruising right along. Now he's not fighting once a year either. He's actually got a fight every couple weeks. Back at the Bloomsbury Hotel on November 23rd versus Ian Kid Murray.
Oh, boy.
And it's not like a nickname. His name is like Ian Kid Murray. I think that's his middle name.
Oh, boy.
Very weird. It's not like there's no parentheses or quotations around it or anything.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. He's a 1938-3 career fighter, so
not
he doesn't.
Kid.
I was gonna say, I don't think he remembers whether it's his real name or not.
Nor does it matter.
He's not positive.
Well, I don't even want to talk about boxing, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I wasn't that good out of it.
I'm pretty bored. I got beat up a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of dramatic for me.
Painful memories.
It's painful. It's very painful. He wins by points, Terry does, making him 3-0. It's at this point I have to ask, there isn't a lot of, back in like the 70s and 80s, all of these British guys, none of them have nicknames.
No.
In the States, there's all these crazy, silly nicknames. Right. None back there. There's just none. You
ever put a pair of gloves on, you get a nickname.
I'm Tom McAllister. Right. That's your fucking name. I'm just Tom McAllister, not, Boom Boom or Dynamite or...
I guess they're all just Sir, yeah?
There's no, I don't know if it's like considered untoward over there to give yourself a nickname or what, but I don't know. December 8th, 1981, 20th Century Sporting Club in Southend versus Gary Brooks, who's 3-3. That's garbage. Wins by points against Gary Brooks. He's 4-0. February 2nd, 82, Bloomsbury again versus Arthur Davis. He wins by points, does Terry. He's 5-0. So he's winning by points. Are you noticing this? Yeah. We're going to have some good quotes on this in a minute here. March 9th, 1982, at the Town Hall in Hornsey? Mm-hmm. Hornsey.
Horny with an S.
Yeah. Well, I know, and an E.
Oh.
Hornsey.
Hornsey. Oh, boy.
Hornsey.
That's weird.
I'm feeling Hornsey, Jimmy. Yeah. Versus Jerry McGrath, who's 8-0 coming in and does not finish his career 8-0, obviously. He wins by points, does Terry, and brings him to 6-0. So he's doing very well, but not really... winning. He's just winning by points every goddamn time. April 5th, 82. So he's fighting every month. He's very steady. In Bloomsbury again. Lloyd Christie he fights here. 24-21-1 career record. Seems like a lot of work to be 500. It's a lot of getting punched in the face to really not have 24? A lot. 24-21-1. Just getting beat up a lot. 46 fights and you're about 500.
For nothing.
Fuck, man, that's rough. And you know what happens here? Draw. This is a draw, this fight. So, I mean, you really get nothing.
Yeah.
Goes the distance. So he's 6-0-1, Terry is now. Still no losses, though. August 10th, 1982, at the Strand. What the fuck that is.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like the Peach Pit or what, but he fights Dave Finnegan. Oh, boy, 3-6 coming in. This time he wins by a TKO in round 5.
Shit.
So the ref stopped the fight, but he still didn't knock him out. This is just, He
was stumbling, couldn't say his ABCs.
You've hit him enough, isn't it?
Right. You can't take it anymore, isn't it?
Isn't it? Don't you think you've punched his face enough? At this point, it's just impolite, no?
The man's bleeding.
He's all bloody. He's all bloody. Look at him. Isn't it?
He's bloody and stumbling, isn't it?
So he by the way, we do hope that you find our ignorance charming, as always, with
I don't understand why you say things like
overseas episodes. I do enjoy it, though. So he's 7-0-1. It's at this point we kind of got to talk about his punching power, by the way. I need to show you a picture of him in his prime.
That's his prime?
That's his prime, Jimmie. It's the picture I'll post on social media at Crime and Sports.
Is that a sash?
It's a belt. That's a championship belt that he wins at one point.
It's very small.
He's got a real weak mustache, too. It's like reddish, and he almost looks ashamed. The look on his face, he almost looks ashamed that he has that belt.
What it is like a mug shot.
I know I'm not that tough.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing mug shot, is what it looks like. It's not positive.
Well, no shit. Here's one from an interview with him where he's talking about his punching power. It's fucking hilarious.
That guy.
This is Terry Marsh talking about. He doesn't look like a guy.
The guy from that picture.
It's not exactly Mike Tyson. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
The punching power. He says, "quote I got older, got strong, but I still couldn't punch." You rarely hear that from a boxer.
A boxer, yeah.
You rarely hear.
They generally tout their punching ability.
It's weird. I just can't. I got nothing in the punching department. He says, "I realized that you can't get far in boxing without a punch, and that was quite frustrating." Oh, my God. I don't know why, but that's like...
It's like an NBA player talking about, I got older. I just couldn't shoot.
I realized that I couldn't get the ball in the basket.
Yeah, an NBA player goes further when they can shoot.
That's just wild. It was quite frustrating.
Without a jump shot.
It's,
But here I am, NBA player.
It's so you need to be able to catch to play baseball, it turns out. So quite frustrating. So I thought, one fight at a time, I was hoping to find my level. He said, "The irony is that not being a puncher was probably a blessing in some respects. I worked on my skills and my fitness. Every time I had a fight, I was resigned to go the distance. A boxer who can't punch is a good source of humor for me, as it is like having a footballer who can't kick. It is absurd."
Yeah.
He literally says, "My skill set's absurd. Like, I'm not good at it."
He actually said absurd.
It's absurd. It is absurd. I'm a basketball player who's short and has a terrible jumper.
Right.
Like I have nothing to offer, yet here I am. That's what he does in fights.
I'm a boxer that's better off kicking him.
Yeah, he just hangs around and wins on points. He's just a weird, lanky guy. He's kind of lanky. He's kind of hard to hit, and I don't know. He gets his shots in and outpoints you, and you just don't expect it. You think, I'm going to fucking get to this guy eventually and knock him out, and then you just never do, and then the fight's over, and he won somehow. And you're like, how did that asshole beat me? I'm not even hurt. I'm literally making dinner plans right now because I'm going to go out and hang out with my friends. I don't even have a headache.
I was really excited about the end of the fight where they raise hands because I was excited about my hand going up.
Yeah, I figured my hand going up.
There's no way I lost. I'm not even breathing hard.
I rarely feel this good after a fight.
I want to go again.
Usually feel like, is there another one lined up I can go? Like it's a ride.
Pull a double header.
Let's go one more. Come on. He said, Jesus Christ. So he said, it is absurd. So I came, to come out undefeated and to do it by winning British, European, and world titles is pretty decent. I did all right as an amateur as well, winning British and international honors. Not bad for someone who can't punch.
The man's undefeated.
He's undefeated. He will, in his career, he'll never lose a fight.
Wow.
Which is wild. He'll never lose a fight, but he'll also never knock somebody out. So it's pretty fucking, I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
What is that?
You see like all the undefeated like world champions, and the famous ones are, your Rocky Marciano. They would knock you out.
Tons of knockouts.
Yeah, a lot of knockouts. It's really weird. He keeps on with it though. He says that power punching is just, he says almost like it would be a hindrance for him here. You know what I mean? He says he's actually proud of not being able to punch. So that makes it harder to be good.
Well, my shoulders are all intact today, so that's good news.
I got that. I never really, my knees are good. I didn't really put any torque into it.
My hips and knees feel great. I wake up in the morning, I feel fantastic.
He said, quote, I made the point that I had about 200 fights, man and boy. I guess he's fighting men and boys.
Okay.
He means him, man and boy, right. But that must have been the schoolboy. And I never knocked anyone out clean in all those fights.
Ever.
In 200 fights. That's wild.
Yeah.
That is remarkable. Think about that.
It's like he cares about his opponent and just doesn't want to hurt him.
Yeah, like, I don't think you're punching right. Who's training this guy? Yeah. I get that you have the skills to do the, to like rock 'em, sock 'em. You can get out of the way and hit him, but I don't think you're like putting your body into it or something, man.
I think slap boxers have accidentally knocked people out.
That's, I mean, like, I've...
How do you not even accidentally, get a real clean punch?
Well, yeah, because sometimes you don't see a punch coming.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman. He just didn't see it coming, knocked Lewis out clean. It's just a freak thing that happens sometimes.
It does.
Not once. Somebody who has like a glass jaw or some kind of fucking brain problem where they get tapped and he's got too many concussions or nobody.
Gene like a fainting goat where you scare him and he falls over. Nothing.
And his brain touches his skull and it's a concussion and he goes down out cold. Never. It's very fucking weird. He says that I put one or two down, but it was always more of a slip or from them having had enough of the punches where they basically just kind of kneeled down. Yeah. Like they couldn't defend themselves. Yeah. They were like, well, I'm tired of getting slapped around a lot.
It's not a knockout. It's just overwhelmed.
This is so annoying. Stop. God. Such a jerk.
Yeah, sometimes you take a knee when there's a bunch of flies swarming you. Jesus, they're all up here.
That's what I do when I'm fighting all the schoolboys. Sometimes I got to just take a knee and throw some elbows for a second, get my wits about me. Yeah, that's how it works here.
Figure north and south.
That's why it was always more of a slip or them having, or then, you get a guy off balance and you hit him and you knock him over, but he's not out. He just lost his balance. He pops right back up again. So
I can't imagine.
This is amazing, man. He said the one time I came close to scoring a knockout was when I fought for the world title versus Joe, quote, Lewis Manley.
Yeah.
Not Lewis.
No.
For the IBF light welterweight title in 1987. And then I had to hit the guy clean with a short left hook. He was on his way down and falling like a tree, so I hit him twice. And the writer comes in and says it was actually once a right hand as he was going down on the way down. Well, despite all that, he still beat the count. So it shows that I just could not punch.
Yeah.
So even when I knocked a guy out like a falling tree, he was back up in fucking 6 seconds. God damn it. Never mind.
Maybe if you hit him twice.
Yeah. He made the point, too. He said it was funny that he knocked the guy down and he got so excited about it because he didn't know what to do. He didn't knock anybody down really ever. So he literally was just not, it wasn't like trained behavior at that point, what to do when you knock somebody down.
Go to your corner. Yeah.
So he just didn't know what to do. So he like fucking turned. He was like, oh shit, he's down. I better go to my corner. So he turned and like ran to his corner and like stood there all fucking like a statue.
Like he's on home base.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, you can count now because he just wasn't used to doing it either. There's a certain casual thing like,
what I do, ref, I haven't done this before.
Yeah, you hit him, you turn off slowly, ref comes in and makes sure your distance away counts. You kind of circle over. And, nope, he's just like, oh God, I go, what do I do? Oh, Jesus Christ. He panicked. And he said he was fucking embarrassed about it afterwards because like people were making fun of him like, Jesus Christ, you look like your eyes were like saucers when that guy fell down. You look more fucking surprised than he did. You're like, oh God.
What do I do now?
Literally, he's like, I didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't know what to do, so I ran in the corner and it was embarrassing. My corner was making fun of me like, slow down, dude. Look like you've been here before. So September 7th, 1982, at the Town Hall in Hornsey again. Loves that Hornsey. He fights Robert Armstrong, Esquire.
Yeah.
So this guy's 19-35-1 for his career, which is a lot of losses.
How many?
19-35-1.
That's not arm weak, sir.
It's almost twice as many, man.
Maybe arm strong, but jaw weak.
Jaw weak. Robert Glass strong. Why the fuck would you keep fighting? I
don't know, man. That's too many.
Stop. At 20 losses, stop.
There's no excuse.
There's very few world champions have 20 losses.
Right.
They're not giving you any fight that's worth anything if you have 20 losses. You're just in it for $300 at that point and a little bit of brain damage.
You're not going to make the Hall of Fame.
No, move on. Go do day labor or something. It's less brain damage. You probably get paid the same amount. So he wins by points here, Terry does, again, obviously. He's 8-0-1. October 11th, 82, at the Locarno Ballroom in Bristol. He fights Chris Senegar here, 18-11-2 for his career. He wins by he wins by DQ in this fight. Terry is knocked down, and then while he's down, his opponent comes over and continues to pummel him while he's on the ground.
You can't do that at all.
Yeah, no, not like on one knee and there's a shot. He literally is like on the ground. The guy's over him. Dropping bombs on him, and he's fucking covering himself up trying to get up, and the ref's got to pull the guy off.
Ahead of your time, sir. The UFC's coming out in a few
shit
years.
He's like, throw the gloves off. He's going to tackle the guy, start humping his face while he chokes him.
Bite ears too, sir.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing? So that's pretty intense, actually. He fucking pummeled him.
That's a
I don't
good
know
way
if
to
he
win.
pissed him off.
I don't know.
That had to piss him off. You know how to box. This guy was 17-8-2 coming into the fight. So he knew that when you knock a guy down, you can't hit him anymore.
Sure.
So I feel like that he must have really driven him crazy or some shit. So 9-0-1 for Terry. February 19th, 1983. This is, I believe, in France. He fights Didier Kowalski.
Oh, boy.
Which looks like Diddler Kowalski to me when I look at it quickly.
It's got to be Didier, right?
I think it's Didier Kowalski.
Yeah.
He's 28-9-2 coming into the fight, though. So he's a formidable opponent. And Terry wins by points. 10-0-1. Next time he fights is in Town Hall in Cheltenham. I'm sure. Cheltenham.
How do you do that in one fucking syllable?
They could make Cheltenham. Pardon? What was that?
You just put 11 letters into one syllable.
Listen,
how did you do that?
I get that American English,
it
makes no sense. I understand. We have literally right near each other a state called Kansas and a state called Arkansas that have the same fucking letters in them and are said completely. We get it. Trust us. Yeah. Our shit is wrong.
But at least there's syllables.
But
and we
it's
know.
not, no one, yeah, exactly. No one would Cheltenham. You wouldn't turn San Francisco into one syllable.
Right.
Whereas you guys would.
Sefriso.
Sefriso.
Oh,
what the
boy.
fuck are you talking about? Cheltenham. Where?
You
what
heard
now?
Me. Yeah.
And then they brought it over here in little bits. You go to Massachusetts and you're like, that's not Worcester.
No,
what
it's
the
not.
fuck are you talking about? It's not Worcester. Stop it.
Throw a Shire on it and it's a sauce. That's what that is.
Fucking, there's multiple syllables in that word and you have made it. Worcester? No, not Worcester, you fucking motherfucker. Son of a bitch.
There's a ton of that shit up there, too.
It's all over the place. Oh, because it's all English inspired.
Thanks to the fucking crown and throne.
God damn it.
Ugh.
So Andy Thomas here is I don't know, 8-13-1 for his career. He loses by TKO to Terry Marsh, so that's a bad of a fighter this other guy is. Not good. TKO in the fourth, 11-0-1 for Terry. April 26, 1983 at the York Hall in Bethnal Green. He fights Vernon Van Riel. Van Riel?
Yeah.
That sounds like venereal.
Yeah.
You could.
It's a disease.
It sounds like the way a British person would say venereal.
Right. Venereal.
Venereal. Oh, venereal disease. Isn't it?
It's tingly, isn't it?
It's tingly when I pee, isn't it?
Venereal.
Once again, our ignorance. We hope you find it charming.
You sound smooth and amazing when you do
Venereal.
It sounds great when you guys talk. It's just you're not
amazing.
doing them all. You're not doing all the letters and syllables.
Yeah.
You created this, and none of you speak
Again,
it.
we Americans, we understand. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm from New York. I've heard that accent. Down south, you must go,
oh, boy.
That's English?
Yeah.
I understand. Are you sure about that?
Right.
Yeah, there's some words that I've never heard
What
of
did
before.
you do to our language?
But you can't say anything because they cram you and all into y'all, and you cram chicha, so it doesn't fucking matter. It's the same thing. That's where they got it from. I learned it from you, Dad. I learned it by watching you. I learned it by watching you ignore vowels and consonants that are there and whole syllables.
So they drink so much and punch their wives.
Yeah.
We learned it from you.
Learned it from you, Dad. So Vernon Van Riel there, he escapes it with, I guess, a little penicillin and goes 12-0-1 for Terry. Good for him. Next, he is November 3rd at the 20th Century thing again. He fights Lee McKenzie, 3-0, coming in third, 13-11-1 for his career. Again, win by points for Terry, 13-0-1. Next, he is at the Yorkshire Executive Sports Club.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Sounds fancy.
Sounds like a lot of fox hunting.
That sounds like a fight, like a ring in a room that only has like 30 seats. So they're like high leather back, big chairs, and people, people watching and betting high stakes on it. And then whoever loses is like murdered and fed to the dogs or the dogs or the pigs or the guard dogs.
And each round they bet more money.
Oh yeah, that's how it works here. He fights Tony Sinnott, who's 12-3-1 coming in, and ends up 12-14-2 for his career. So he never wins another fight.
My fuck.
Just loses 11 straight fights and one draw. So Terry adds to this by a win by points here. So 14-0-1 for Terry. Oh, boy. September 19th, 84 at the Britannia Leisure Center in Shoreditch, which those are two words that are shore is nice and ditch is not. Why are those two together?
It's the shore of the ditch.
Shoreditch.
That's just a concrete slope.
That sounds like shit. He fights Clinton McKenzie. This guy's a real fighter. He comes into this fight 30 wins, 9 losses. Eesh. So that's no joke. That's a bad motherfucker. He finishes his career 36-14-0. And this is a win on points for Terry. And this gets him the British super lightweight title here.
He's it.
He's it.
He's the winner.
He is the British super champion of lightweights. God damn it. Yeah. Fuck yes. Take that.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. I can't break a pane of glass with my goddamn fist if I had a fucking brass knuckles on. But you know what?
Right.
Champion boxer. Which it makes sense, though.
Couldn't break a pane of glass with a combo.
With a combo of brass knuckles. And it makes sense, though, because if any guy could survive, not only survive, but become a champion at fighting without having any of the physical power to do it, they'd have to be, it would like a chess match. That's how it would have to be.
Very strategic.
You'd have to set everybody. That's what he's good at, apparently.
Playing a few moves ahead.
That's it. So he's 15-0-1. 15 and no losses. That's wild. December 5th, 1984 at the Alexandra Pavilion in Muswell Hill.
Ugh.
Jesus. Come on. It's probably beautiful, too, and it sounds like shit.
I'll bet it's not.
I bet it's not. I bet it's shit.
It's rainy.
I love when we say things in England sound beautiful. We're like, that sounds wonderful. And then we'll get our listeners like, oh, it's the fucking worst. It's shit. And they'll send us pictures, and they're like, oh, that's a terrible area. I know it sounds nice, but they're hilarious, though, because they never take offense.
Right.
They always think it's great. They find our ignorance charming.
Very.
It's funny because no matter what we talk about, whatever country it is, Canada, England, Australia, here, there, everywhere, no matter what, like cities we make fun of, teams we make fun of, nobody ever gets offended by it for some reason on this show. Except there's one region of the world that gets offended. And you know what?
James, there's one region of the universe.
That's what I mean. It's the world. I don't know.
It's the only place.
We don't know if we're being heard in Mars, so I can't. I'm just going to stick to Earth for now.
If they are not offended.
As superstar Billy Graham said, if there's Martians on Mars, I'll beat them in arm wrestling. That's what I feel like. I don't know, man.
One particular place.
It's one place.
Sensitivity galore.
And
they brag about being the least sensitive.
I was going to say, I want blah, 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 but why am I holding back punches? No, it's the South. You guys are really, stop being so sensitive. You're really sensitive.
We laugh at ourselves.
No, you don't. Only if it's something that's not funny, maybe,
right.
But trust us.
Only if it's you saying something about you.
As people who make fun of a lot of things and then receive the shit for it from people, we only, we're not exaggerating, it is 96% only. You don't know, why'd you say that about the South and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why don't you just laugh at it? Because it's a joke. Did you hear the thing about England before that?
Right.
We got a guy going, oh, that's fucking terrific, isn't it? Over in the next thing. So what are you doing?
Meanwhile, stop being so mad about the joke and be more mad that it's fucking true.
Yeah, be mad at why it's funny.
Right.
That's the point. Why is that funny? We need to fix this shit. Go there. Look within.
Yeah.
Fucking blame us for your problems.
Have a gander in the mirror.
Where we're from is shit, too. Are you kidding me? We live in a desert for some reason. Who the fuck should live here? Nobody. This isn't natural. So
we
trust
fight
us.
Nature every day.
Every day. So December 5th, 84, he fights in Muswell Hill. Arthur Clarke. Eesh. 3-16-2 for his career, Arthur Clark. Miserable. He
doesn't like to be reminded about that.
No. Well, I don't think he remembers it because he's TKO'd in the second round by Terry. So that's rare. Yeah. I mean, Terry's really got to get on you for that to happen. So I don't think that guy was a very good fighter, Arthur Clark. He's 16-0-1 for Terry. January of 85 back at the Britannia Leisure Center in Old Shoreditch there. Peter Eubank he fights. Again, that sounds like he's fighting his attorney.
Right.
He's fighting his accountant.
Game show host.
Pete, I don't like what you did with this year's taxes. Meet me at fucking Shoreditch and I'm going to whoop you. I'm giving you a whooping.
Yeah.
This fight is stopped in the 8th round. TKO win for Terry. Eubank had a big cut over his right eye, apparently. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That's what stopped it. May 28th, 85, Alexander Pavilion. Randy Mitchum, 27-14-0 coming in. So, decent fighter. And the 6th round, Mitchum. I just knocked my stuff over.
Yeah, you did.
That's all right. We'll keep going.
Here, look at here.
So, there we go.
There's a napkin.
So, 6th round, Mitchum suffers a cut under his eye, and this is stopped. So, I don't know if Terry started putting thumbtacks in his gloves or what.
In his gloves. He's holding penny rolls.
He's just cutting. I don't know if he's figuring out how he's twisting them or I don't know what the hell he's got. A little scratchy thing at the end.
Got a wrist drill?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, wrist rocket he's got on there.
What are you doing over there?
I'm fixing shit. So, September 12th, 1985, he's at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester. He fights Lee McKenzie, who is 13-5-0 coming in, and wins by points. He knocks McKenzie down twice.
Wow.
Twice. I think he probably took a knee twice, but knocks him down in the 2nd and the 10th round. So not too bad for old Terry here. 19-0-1. October 24th, 1985. This is in Fontevraud. Oh, this is Stade Louis 2.
Oh.
So this is France, I think, here or somewhere. Not
one word, Stade Louis?
No, 2 words. He fights Alessandro Schepacci.
All right.
Hey, it's Alessandro Schepacci. Hey.
It's got an Italian boy.
So as you would pronounce it, Alexandro Staple person.
Scar Cookie. What's his name?
Scarpacci.
Yeah.
Alessandro Scarpacci. 26-3-2 for Alessandro. Yes. So he's been eating a mama's pasta. He's going to knock you out.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I'm going to knock you out, isn't it? Don't say that there. So Terry wins by TKO in the 6th round here. So styling.
Sure.
Doing well here. His next fight is at Muswell Hill again, and this is the only nicknamed fighter that he fights in his entire career.
Who is it?
That has a nickname. He's the fighting fireman.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Oh, that's his.
Oh, yeah. He's the fighting fireman.
We had Joe, quote unquote, Lewis.
Oh, yeah. Joe Lewis, whatever that he's talking about. But this is Tussicoletta.
Huh?
Tusikoleta.
One name.
Yeah. Tussicoletta. That's his first name.
Right.
Tussicoletta, or as he goes by, Tex.
May as well. Yeah, British guy.
Oh my! No, I don't think so. His last name is Ninkalatanke.
Okay. Yeah.
NKA.
What?
Yeah. When you see
that's not easy.
When you see N's and K's backed right up against each other like that, and it's not at the end of a word like skank or something. It's tank. Or tank. Right. Why did I say skank?
I don't know. First word that was crazy. That was pretty intense. I went I was like, oh yeah, tank. And you said skank. I was like, well, that wasn't
Frank. I could have said
anything.
Tom Hanks. I could have said fucking a lot of things, but I went with skank for some reason.
Could have been sunk. Could have been anything.
Sunk. Right. There's a shitload of words that end in NK that are not skank. I don't know why that's the first.
That was hilarious. Oh my God! You've got monk.
What is wrong with
Jesus,
me?
Man.
What is wrong with me?
Skunk? Did you say that yet?
No, I said skank instead of skunk.
I don't know.
I took skank over skunk.
Before skunk.
How'd I miss that one?
I don't know.
So, Tex.
I'm just glad you leaned away from spunk.
As he goes. Well, that was next. That's all I could think of. You spunky skank. So, Tex Encalantes. Tekere.
Yeah.
That's a handle.
Indomlakan.
Right, yeah. Indomlalushikan, Sue. 13-6 he is. Or as the British would say, Nike.
Yeah.
Nit.
Inky.
Isn't it? Fucker. No.
That is one syllable right there, James.
It is. This guy's 25-10-4 for his whole career, so not bad. But it goes the distance, and it's a unanimous decision win for Terry, making him 20-0-1 or 21-0-1. So he's going. April 12th, 1986, at the Palace Lido in Douglas, he fights Francesco Prezioso.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter, Francesco Prezioso.
I guess speaks zero English.
It's a Francesco Prezioso. Here I am. Punch me in the face and I will fall down on the ground. Hey, Francesco. Yeah, that's him. 13-2 he is coming in. 13-2-4. It's a shitload of draws.
Yeah.
How do you have that many draws? Are you that evenly matched with people?
2 is about the maximum you're allowed, right?
That seems normal, but beyond that, it's like
3 is crazy.
3, that's
a lot.
4 is like, okay. There's like a judge going around.
Who's being paid?
Who's being paid off to go? I think it's even. I watch both the fighters. I watch the whole fight. I gotta say, nobody win. Nobody win and nobody lose. Right. Everybody look fine. Can we say instead of a draw, we say both the men win? How's that? Both of them are going to win. It's very good on the record.
I don't want anybody. That's just a guy with a lot of compassion, just going, I lost, sound terrible.
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
I see him, Antonio. He works so hard.
He showed up. He drank raw egg for this.
He train. He wake up early every morning. He goes to jog around the city.
Chasing a chicken.
Hey, I said, hey, oh, here you go. I chase a chicken. And the man, he say, hey, you do this. I go, okay, a punch of the beef, And he goes, he hits the bin and he show up. He tries so hard. He put his little shorts on. He had a nice little short, very shiny. He put his name right there under the leg. It looked so nice.
They were his mom's bloomers.
He wear his mama bloomer underneath. This is so nice. He wears that. He put a no shirt, very nice, a waxed chest for the occasion. So it's very good. He has a Vaseline on, and then he'll fall down. I feel so bad. I said no.
Hey, draw.
I said, no, we do. It's a draw. Everybody feel good about yourself. You go home, you eat a nice dinner.
4 times of this guy explaining this, and they're like, we can't hire him anymore, right?
I want him to have a nice glass of wine when he go home, a nice, something. You relax with, your nice lady, and they go, that's not what we're doing here. It's a fucking fight. We're judging. He goes, I feel bad. I feel better to judge people, I don't want to judge.
It literally says judge on your shirt, you asshole.
I feel better judging the people and their efforts. You make us effort so hard. Who am I to judge?
I grew up a Catholic. They said don't judge.
Who am I, a God? I'm a no God. You're not a God. Who am I to do the judge? No good. Well, it says you're a judge. Still. No.
Judge not lest ye, No,
that's no good. So, anyway, he fights Francesco Prezioso, and he wins by points 22-0-1. May 28th, 1986, at the Alexandra Pavilion.
Again.
In Muswell Hill. Mm-hmm. This is a very prestigious place, apparently. Yeah. Somebody, if you live in Muswell Hill. Muzzle. That's both words, by the way. That's Muzzle. That's Muswell Hill.
Yeah.
That's all together. If you live in Muswell, please tell us if it's gross or not, because it sounds terrible.
It's got to be.
And it's probably beautiful, because the ones that sound beautiful are terrible.
Smells like bad oysters.
Yes. He fights Rich Kaiser on this day. He should have at least gone with the.
Yeah.
Rich the Kaiser.
Rich the Roll Kaiser.
I was going to go with Rick Kaiser Roll.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't we go with the Kaiser? But for boxing, it's more threatening.
Yeah.
You figure. So he's 13-5-1 coming in, and he'll finish his career 18-17-2. And now this fight goes up to the 7th round, where Terry actually puts together a few punches here and TKOs him. So not a knockout still, but the ref stops the fight.
It's TKO.
So he's had enough, isn't it? You all right? He's whooping you good now. I'm going to go ahead and call him. You stay down, Sonny boy. It's all right.
The Brits are fantastic.
I got this. I'll help you out. This is 23-0-1 for Terry. So he's fucking. This is impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys are 23-0? That's pretty.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Pretty good shit. January 28th, 1987, at Fairfield Hall in Croydon. He fights David Taylor, who finishes his career 1936-3. Another guy like that. God. Why the fuck are you?
Damn it.
Stop fighting.
50 fights for nothing.
Stop it. 50. That's a fucking.
It's almost 60.
That's almost 60 fights. 1936-3. Good for the love of fuck, man. Stop. Don't they have loved ones?
They've got to, right?
That's what I don't understand. Don't you have a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a father, a mother, a sister?
Yeah.
And you have a sister that goes, please.
Don't invite me to these.
I can't watch you get your brains beat in anymore. I can't do it.
Every time. You're like, this time could be different. It's never different.
It's never. I saw he wasn't even good, and he beat the shit out of you. You have to stop this.
I was really worried about that one.
It's fucking bad. Yeah, I could see it. I don't understand. If this was my
seed, family,
friend,
anything,
if you kept doing this to yourself, I go, Jimmie, dude,
you're not good at this.
I get that you love it. I get it, but I guess we don't tell comedians that though.
No,
we want to.
I started and people got mad.
Well,
yeah. I started being like, why do you do this? And they're like, what are you talking about? And then they're friends, and then everybody is. Then everybody hates me.
That's though I was like, there with you. Trust me.
But you're so bad.
You just want to go around though, and if there's a lineup with 8 people, you want to go. Well, 6 of you have no business even picking up a microphone, so fuck off. Yeah. You guys suck. And then the other 2, I mean, you don't put any effort into it, or you'd be half decent. You're just naturally a little bit funny, and that guy's okay.
Yeah.
That's a fucking lineup. So it's like, and we're not talking about people who just start and they're no good. Because a lot of people suck when they first start and they get better.
Right.
That's great. That's someone like that, you give them advice and you try to help them. We're talking about people who are in comedy literally
10 years.
10, 12, 14 years.
God awful.
And not only did they not get anywhere in their career, because that's fine. In comedy, especially if you don't move to one of the cities that it's kind of a thing. If you don't move to New York or LA, it's hard. But comedy, your career is secondary. You want it to work, but are you fucking funny?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
is there a reason for this?
Yeah. After 10, 12 years, you could be really funny, just not really have cracked it. Someone could see, they could take you on the road, and you could at least have something going on for yourself. Whereas instead, these people were like, they would be like, people would roll their eyes when they'd show up at an open mic. Like, oh, Christ, I got to put this guy on the lineup. And they've been doing comedy a dozen.
But you got to feel bad for them, too, at a certain point, because it's not necessarily that they don't know that they're not funny, because clubs and places.
Social?
Places give them opportunities based on what they can bring to the club, and they don't know the business. They don't understand
they don't
what they're doing for other people that makes them want them around. They think that it's them.
Yeah. No,
there's no self-awareness.
No.
Zero.
I'm not, well, speaking of that, one thing, but I'm not even talking about clubs. I'm talking about when you do, like, when we first started out and we do, like, fucking bar shows before we started working clubs even.
Yeah.
When we do bar shows and, like, you were the worst at a fucking bar show that literally anybody could sign up for, and you were terrible, and you've been doing it for 14 years. When you'd see somebody come up that's been doing comedy a month be 100 times better than you, wouldn't you go, what am I doing?
Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? But they didn't.
It's the lack of self-awareness taking
I think you're right.
Because
it's delusion.
Sometimes sets, too, at a club, not even a club, at a bar show, one guy can have a great set, and you're like, why did that just happen? That guy's awful.
Yeah, it'll happen weird.
And they see that and treat that as their opportunity too.
It's true.
One day I could just be great at this.
Maybe it'll work. Well, that we witnessed that one day. Yeah. We witnessed a person think, "Oh my God, finally somebody gets it." Okay, this was we were doing it. This was years ago. Christ, what was this? 2014, 12, 13?
Where?
At the Stand Up Live. It was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. It was a long time ago.
We had to be in 2013 then.
We were both doing a comedy contest, both of us. And there was this big giant contest that the clubs were looking for people to, it was when they first opened. They were looking for people to work the clubs. And they were looking for openers and shit. So that's the way they did it.
Run a contest and you pick the first top 5 and you start giving them a weekend.
Some people would bring, they'd bring 100 of their friends with them. Yeah. So that shit like that you'd have a crap comic, but they bring 100 people. Everybody
and they do
from their
great
job.
Because it's all everybody they
it's
have
all
ever
their
met.
people. Yeah, which is funny. But you could tell with those laughs. Yeah. One table's laughing. You're like, that's a problem. That's not going to work. One section is where.
Yeah.
So there's this one comedian that went up this one night, and he's exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking 15 years plus in the game, and the worst comedian at every open mic.
Yeah.
I'm talking consistently always the worst.
Yeah.
And he's trying his hardest. He's not experimenting.
No.
He's not doing, this isn't performance art. He's going up telling one-liner dick jokes that are awful and getting silence from people, okay? We watched him do it. I've seen him 100 times. He signs up for this contest, like we say. Why do people do shit like that? Did you think it's all going to come together after 15 years?
Yeah.
You're finally going to have a good set?
Tonight is the night. The bookers are there.
That's what I mean. And he's going to, that's what it was. Oh, I hope I have a good set. The bookers are there. Then what are you going to do with it if you get booked?
Right.
Bomb for fucking every other time? So I've seen you do the same 8 minutes over and over, and it never works. So he goes out to do his set. And he gets on stage, and there's 600 people there. It's a fucking packed 550, a big packed comedy theater, really packed, and good crowd's good too. They're pumping. The host was good. That chick member, the hostess.
Is it the one from New York?
Yes, she's really good.
I forget her goddamn
name. I know her name.
I follow her.
She's good. Yeah. Wendy Starling. She's
that's
good.
it.
Wendy Starling. I don't know why I wasn't going to mention her name. I'm not saying anything bad about her.
She's wonderful.
She's really funny and a nice person and a really good person. So
that's great.
Wendy is the host, and she's fucking crushing as host too. Even when somebody dies a little, she keeps the energy up. She's good, and she had a good set up front. So Stand Up Live has the weirdest stage door in comedy.
Yeah.
In all the other places, we've never seen this before.
You go around and wrap upstairs and go up at the door, and it's right there.
The door is in the stage. There's no up. So you pop out of just the backstage wall.
Right.
You pop out, and there you are. Hi. The door opens, the stage, and it's fucking weird.
On the other side of that door is a couch.
There's a couch and a green room and all that shit. Right. So it's right on the other side of the stage. So somehow, for some reason, that door has a lock on it. Which I don't know why, and it's a lock that you lock from the inside, from the green room.
Right.
So at what point would you be in the green room?
And it's positioned an inch above the handle.
It's right there.
So you grab the handle.
It's one of those light ones, too, that you can hit with your thumb by accident.
Tag it with your wrist when you open it.
Very important, especially if you don't use that all the time, like people in a contest who don't work there all the time like we were doing. So Anyway, this is an issue. The only thing I can think is a safety precaution. If like the crowd was bum rushing the stage, you go in there and lock the door. I guess
safe room.
Fucking know.
No windows.
I suppose that's the only way it is, because then it's got another door with a lock. Yeah. But that's to the main. That's the people the hallway, are there. Right. The hallway. You want that to lock. And then you got the bathroom
door that's a lock too. So you've got 3 doors that lock in there. Yeah.
So anyway, this person who's been doing comedy a long time and isn't any good at it, when they came out to do their set, Wendy introduced this person. They came out. They must have hit that lock by accident, okay? Because the door closes. They get up, and it's a big stage, a deep stage. So if you're at the front of the stage with the mic, behind you is a good
6-7 steps.
I was going to say, it's a good probably 10 feet behind you, like a basketball hoop's worth of to the wall. So it's back there. You don't like feel the door open right next to you or anything like that. You don't even notice it. So 600 people. This guy's all jacked up. He starts telling one joke. It doesn't work. He tells another quick joke, and these are, one-liners.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It's at that moment that he tells another joke that fucking levels the room. I'm talking, brah, like this reaction to it.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was
he couldn't believe
fucking shock.
Yeah.
He was like, and he started like getting like, it happened.
It's all going to work now.
Like he was reading a winning lottery ticket. Like, it's fun. Oh my God.
36.
Finally. And he told another joke. And and they were just still rolling from that joke right into that one. And he just fucking, they're rolling. And you could see the smile on his face. He's like, oh, this is the greatest fucking thing in the world. Oh, yeah. And then he tells another joke, and it's dead silence, just like the first 2 jokes.
Right.
He has no idea why. Never. To this day, he has no idea why those 2 jokes crushed harder than Bill Burr in his peak, yet nothing else has ever worked ever. And those 2 jokes have never worked again in any other place before or since.
Thank you, Wendy.
The reason was poor Wendy was locked out of the fucking green room. So while he's telling a joke, she's jiggling the handle trying to get in. And once she realizes it's locked, she just turns and goes, smiles to the audience and does like a little thing like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked. Right at the same time as his punchline. It was the timing of it that was amazing. And the look on he almost, like, I'm surprised he didn't die. Yeah. I've never seen someone swell with so much confidence and then it just go away so fucking fast.
Right now.
For 2 jokes, and then she ran off to the side, and then the people were like, okay, there's that. Now, what are you saying?
Now you.
Oh, yeah, you're not funny. That's
now
right.
You tell us jokes.
That's right. You're not funny.
I forgot that you suck.
I forgot how terrible you are.
I was just reminded when you told me another one of your jokes.
But it's delusions.
Can we bring the girl back up?
Can we bring her who was locked? She's funny. Can we lock her out again and just have her make I don't know what's going on faces? That was pretty funny. Yeah, you tell Beth, do whatever you want up front here and make her do the jiggle thing. And then, but that's what I mean. Those are those people where you're like, why are you doing this to yourself? There's an emotional toll, but this is a physical toll too. Not only are you losing in front of everybody and having your fucking family watch you get beat up, but then you have to put your head back together.
Right.
So this is Taylor loses by TKO. So this guy's so bad that Marsh TKOs him in the 2nd round with a cut over his left eyebrow.
Okay.
I think Terry's starting to put some
stank on it.
Put some stank on it. He's putting a little twist in the gloves.
Eating some spinach.
So he's 24-0-1 at this point. And this is March 4th, 1987. He fights. This is a fight fought for a title, the IBF Light World Welterweight title, and it's done inside of a circus tent.
Oh, boy.
Which is a very strange place to have a prize fight.
But at least you get to punch people in there.
That's the thing. That's good. You normally don't get to do that. So this is the fight against Joe Louis Manley, where he thought he knocked him out.
Okay.
And he ran to the corner and didn't know what to do with himself.
Fantastic.
So this is the one here. He's 26-3-1 coming in, Joe Louis Manley. So I could see he's a good fighter. 29-8-2 for his career. So not too shabby. And this is a 10th round TKO. So I guess even though he ran to the corner, he still was, the ref stopped it. 25-0-1. July 1st, 1987, Royal Albert Hall.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. None of this Muswell circus tent bullshit.
Pier Stick Hall.
Fucking Royal Albert Hall, bitches. Yeah, this is... How old is that place? Do you know?
Probably, it's got to be as old as Prince Albert, right?
I don't know anything about it, but I can't tell if it's one of those places that's like 500 years old, or they built it in like 1920 to look like it's 500 years old. And it's
everything's possible today.
I feel like it's probably old.
I hope so,
because it looks
everything over there's old.
It looks like a formal dining hall in there or something. It doesn't look like a.
Or was it blown apart and they built it back to tried to be what it was?
Maybe, or is it like Madison Square Garden, where Madison Square Garden isn't originally where Madison Square Garden even was?
Oh. Where was
Madison Square Garden now isn't the original Madison Square Garden.
From Times Square.
Yeah, the original Madison Square Garden, they knocked it down in the 60s and built up this Madison Square Garden and just called it Madison Square Garden. That was that.
Because it's a great area.
Yeah, they just called it the same name.
Okay.
And so, it's not the original place, though.
Where was it? Was it far? Was it in Manhattan?
Yeah, it was right there. It was a couple blocks away, but it wasn't right. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it wasn't the exact same location. Might have been across the... No, because then where the fuck is it now? I don't know where it was, put it that way. I don't remember where it was exactly. So I think they share a similar location, like maybe part of it.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of overlapped it?
Maybe.
Footprint?
I can't remember exactly, and it's really going to bother me forever.
But this isn't it.
This is not it. So the place, by the way, Festival Hall Super Tent, when he fought the tent fight. No. Royal Albert Hall, on the other hand, he's fighting Akio Kameda, who is, I believe, probably Japanese.
Sounds like
I'm going to say. He's 27-3-0 coming in.
Okay.
Not too shabby. He finishes his career 27-4-0 because this is his last fight. And Terry beats him with a TKO in the 7th round. Mm-hmm. You cannot beat Terry.
No.
He is a bad motherfucker, man.
Or very lucky.
Yeah. This is crazy, though. Like 26-0-1. This isn't like 12 fights. In 26 fights, no one can figure him out.
He doesn't get hit.
It's so weird.
Is that what it is? Because he's pointing.
It's got to be because he's not dangerous. Mm-hmm. The whole thing in boxing is if you're the fear of the knockout punch is what gets you going in and out. Right. Otherwise, you just walk right into people. You don't care if he can't knock you out. Who cares? Right. So I don't know how the hell he can do that with. No one would be afraid of him. They would just walk. They would constantly be moving forward on him. It would be really hard to fight like that.
Makes sense.
I wouldn't. It would be like always fighting Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. Like in every Tyson fight, he's the guy going forward, and the other guy's going back in circle, and that's how it works. He's the aggressor. I don't know how you would do that with this guy. So he's 26-0-1. Now December 1987. Here, he signs, Terry does, a $250,000 contract for his next title defense.
Really?
$250,000. In
the 70s?
In 1987.
Okay.
Which is still great money. And for him, who's not a heavyweight.
And from the slums.
And he's, not a big famous guy, really, not a flashy guy, because no one wants to watch him outpoint somebody.
That's a payday.
So he's got a title, but for $250,000, that's a huge fucking payday. He's a fireman. Like, that's what he looks at boxing as his hobby.
Right.
It's his side job.
$250,000, that's his pension.
That's what I mean. That's great. So, grace. Mm-hmm. Let's say grace on that. Signing a $250,000 one-fight contract to defend your title. Grace. It's grace because just a few hours after the ink is on the paper, probably not even dry yet, he retires.
What?
From boxing.
He quit.
Well, he's forced to retire because of epilepsy.
Oh, no.
He's got epilepsy.
Oh, fuck.
And he must retire medically, apparently.
Wow.
So, yeah. This is a big deal. 250,000 pound, not dollar.
So that's
even more.
Australia.
So this is just hours before he announces that he has epilepsy, and it wasn't like a ceremonial thing, and then he was going to retire.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, yeah, here's the fight. We're talking about this fight. He's saying, yep, can't wait to beat that guy up. And then 3 hours later, he's like, I am done fighting.
Yeah.
Very fucking weird.
I just got a phone call, and I can't fight anymore.
That's it. His manager, Frank Warren, the guy we talked about, disclosed that Marsh signed the deal over lunch. And by the end of the day, there was that. He was done. He said Mr. Warren said that his fighter never told him of the illness. here. That's the thing. Marsh said that a specialist had diagnosed him with epilepsy about 2 weeks ago, and it would never mean he would never fight again. So for some reason, he signed a $250,000 contract.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
And then he remembered.
Yeah, and then Warren here, the Warren said that his fighter never told him of the illness, and he said that he's been unable to contact him since the news broke. So he's saying, Terry hung me out to dry. Mm-hmm. He didn't tell me he was sick, and then he signed a contract, and then he retired. So
and disappeared.
Yeah, he put me on the line for all this stuff, and then fucking took off. That's his story. Mm-hmm. He says that, what do you say? I had no idea he was ill. I can't understand why an intelligent fellow like Terry did not say something about it. I shall now inform the IBF that Terry Marsh is no longer their champion. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's looking at. He says that at the same time, in addition to him not being able to box, he's also not sure if he can fulfill his duty as a fireman anymore either.
Yeah.
Because if he's trying to rescue someone and he can't have a fit. And so
carry me out of a building and then fall down.
Exactly. So it might not be safe. So that's a question too. Just going to see what kind of medication they can give him and see how it works. So he said, quote, this is funny. People are asking him like, well, getting hit in the head is bad. And have you talked to the British Medical Association about the correlation between, head injuries,
punch,
different things like that? He said something very smart and very simple at the same time. Quote, I don't need the British Medical Association to tell me getting hit on the head can't do me any good. Like, it's obvious, motherfuckers. Yeah.
He said that shit in the 80s.
Yeah, this is 1987. Mm-hmm. So I don't need them to tell me getting consistently punched isn't good for your brain. It's probably obvious. Duh, right?
Yeah.
Why do we think that it's okay for our brain?
I don't know.
We would never, just punch our fucking heart over and over again and be like, I'm sure it's fine.
But it's because we look at everything else that happens to us that we get injured and it goes away. We don't realize that shit doesn't regenerate, man.
I think it's movies and cartoons and shit. I really do.
And we're just dumb.
Yeah. Like in a movie, though, somebody gets hit in the head and then they where am I? And they get hit in the head again and they're fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like people have this weird, head injury thing.
You see the tweets and then it's over.
Oh, I have amnesia. Right. But really, you might have just done some serious brain damage and had that kid forget 4th grade. That dude just forgot, a major, a year in his life.
There was a man that was working on a train track and a bar popped up and hit him in the fucking head. It went through his head.
Oh, my God.
And he was...
Jesus Christ.
It went through his head in Britain.
No, where in the head?
Oh, right through the frontal lobe.
Jesus Christ.
And then he never spoke at a reasonable volume ever again. He just screamed fuck at people.
I bet he did. Fuck, this hurts. Yeah. I had a fucking rod stuck in my fucking forehead.
It went clean through and through. So, but if that's where he got hit and he was a mess, you're getting punched in that over and over in boxing. Your frontal lobe is
frontal lobe. That's where your fucking
it's all damaged.
Decision,
everything.
Your what's the word I'm looking
volume
for?
Limiter.
No,
cognitive thinking.
That's where
motor skills. Everything.
No, it's where you're being able to, it's where you get impulsive and shit like that. Like if you damage your frontal lobe, you don't have the same.
Frontal lobe carries a ton of things.
There's a lot, so you want to stick that out because in boxing you want to stick that out forward.
Stick that out far.
You really get hit in the forehead. It's better than the nose or the mouth or anything. So
at least you won't bleed.
Either way, when your head rattles and it hits your brain, it's not good. It's usually bad. And that's, I get that not really, it's not a controversial thing. It's true. So Frank Warren here, the manager, the promoter, I should say, he initially thought the whole thing was nonsense, he says. He said he thought it was some sort of thought he didn't know what Terry was doing. He's like, is he doing some sort of publicity thing?
Oh, what kind of publicity?
It's a weird publicity thing. Come see the fighter with epilepsy. I want to see him. I heard he has epilepsy. I really want to see him just fucking have a twitching fit on the ground after he gets punched in the mouth. That'll be real entertaining.
That would be horrible to watch, though.
Yeah.
I'd lose my mind seeing somebody just have a fit on the ground.
No shit.
Minus being punched.
It's fucking so weird. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't punch him and do that to him. So Warren says that Terry had not given the slightest indication that he would not be able to honor his commitment.
Yeah.
That's what he says. He goes, totally hit me out of the blue. He said he was fine, signed it. No, he's not. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Terry says it went down a lot differently than that.
Okay.
Terry's got a lot more to say about it. He says, he describes Mr. Warren here as a, quote, absolute liar, is Terry's quote about him. He claimed that he was diagnosed with an epileptic as an epileptic in August 87, and a week later he told Mr. Warren. He says, quote, there was a slight pause, and then Frank said, don't worry, we'll sort it out, and went on about what fights were lined up. I don't know if he didn't get it, like what that meant. I don't know if he just said, I'm an epileptic, and he was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or if he was like, knew what that meant, or did he say like, I'm an epileptic, which means can't fight anymore? Who knows what he's saying here. He says, though, he knew he couldn't fight. He's like, I can't fight as an epileptic. He knows what things can't fight. He says he signed the contract because he wanted Mr. Warren. He wanted to cause Mr. Warren as much embarrassment as possible. He said that's why he signed it, because he was letting him sign it even though he knew he had epilepsy. So he's like, good, I'll sign it. Then I'll retire and say I had epilepsy. Fucking this guy's an idiot. Why would you make the spectacle, though?
Right.
He says, quote, I make no apology for that. That's what Terry says. Why is he being a dick to Frank?
Yeah, what's happening?
Well, he's saying Frank's lying and hanging him out to dry.
Yeah.
Basically, he said I told him, and then he wanted me to sign some contract anyway. Apparently, that was good for his business or whatever, even though he knew the fight wouldn't happen. He's like, so I said, fuck it, I'll do it, and I'll just embarrass him.
Well, what does that do for
Terry?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's my question. What, is he just mad at Frank Warren for something?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. That's where's the beef?
I don't know.
Is what I'm talking about. Who's got and not in an 80s commercial Wendy's way. Like, who's got a problem with this shit? So anyway, he says he makes no apology. So mid-1988, he wants to make a comeback.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's a year and a half after he retires. He seeks a second medical opinion and tries to have a comeback going on, but he's unsuccessful in doing that, and instead he registers with the British Boxing Board as a manager and a co-promoter with some other guy. So
okay, you can do that.
He's going to try to go behind the scenes and at least, have a fucking career out of this whole thing. So there's a center also, the Terry Marsh Leisure Center in Pizza, Essex. Pizza.
It's in Pizza. It's pizza.
It's Pizza Essex, over in Pizza Essex.
Yeah.
It was named in his honor. However, there was squabbles between local politicians about this, and they renamed it the Eversley Leisure Center, but there's still a plaque with him saying it's the Terry Marsh Leisure Center there as well. So the sign and the plaque don't match at this place. I don't know. So he decides, what do you do? You've been boxing your whole life.
Right.
You're pretty good at chess. You've been hitting the head a lot. What's the career for you?
I don't know.
What they all do, Jimmy. Stockbroker.
Yeah.
It's what every retired boxer on our show does, right? That's what they all do.
Right.
It gets worse.
Oh, God.
You think stockbroker's an asshole profession. Wait till you hear where he goes from here. So, he says that at that point, he had seizures. He comes out a little more, and he said that he had seizures, and like his family didn't know about it at first and shit like that. He was kind of hiding it. I don't know if he was embarrassed or what, but who knows. He said, quote, I was way more interested in keeping my fight career going and the prize money rolling in.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
got bills, and if you say anything, you're not going to be able to fight. And Warren said that he was very upset that he never was informed of the epilepsy. From what I don't know if I'm reading this right, but from what I understand, it seems like Terry knew about this and had seizures like way earlier.
Yeah.
Like way earlier, just didn't tell anybody about it. Yeah. What would happen in the ring?
As a guy, you don't go to the doctor until it's something that's like worrisome.
Yeah. I mean, what if that happened in the ring? As a boxer, you go to the doctor all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why you wouldn't.
How did that not get caught by a boxer that's given him like a physical?
That's what I mean. They never caught
medical
it.
record.
I guess that's something you'd have to ask him about.
Yeah.
And if you haven't had seizures and there's I don't know what the sign. I don't know if there's something in your blood elevated if you're an epileptic. I have no idea how that works. So 1989, he tries to make another comeback. He really wants to get punched in the face real bad. This is an appeal to the board, and they uphold their earlier decision. So then he tries to get a license through the New Jersey Boxing Commission.
He's going to go to Jersey here?
New Jersey. No, not New fucking Jersey.
He's going to go to Atlantic City.
He's going to go to AC.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he's like, fuck it. They'll let those idiots do anything you want in Jersey. Yeah. I've seen that, what happens there. And he was hoping for a match in the United States. However, in the end, they found out about he was an epileptic. And even in New Jersey, you're not allowed to punch an epileptic for money.
Yeah.
Even in New Jersey.
He's like, I've been there. It looks like the slums, isn't it?
Isn't it? I mean, in Texas, they'll punch. You're totally allowed to there. It's encouraged. I think it's extra credit if you punch an epileptic, not in New Jersey. So at that point, he says he's about done with boxing. I think it's over. So it's at this point that he goes on Thames Television's midweek sports special in January 1989, and Terry decides to tell everybody that Terry Marsh knew all about the epilepsy and he's a fucking liar and all of this shit. So this is what he says here. He said that he quote told everybody who needed to know, which means what's his name? Frank Warren. Frank Warren says just from that, he's suing Terry for libel.
Really?
Just for that. Yeah. He's definitely going to sue him for libel, saying that because he's saying for Frank Warren, that's a lot of contracts signed and a lot of things going on, and he knew that it wasn't going to happen, so that's not a real ethical thing to do. So the executive producer of sport at Thames said that Mr. Warren had watched Mr. Marsh being interviewed and immediately threatened to sue him. And later on, he said this is the producer, rang Mr. Warren to obtain his permission to broadcast the program. And Mr. Warren told him, quote, I don't care what you do with it. It's up to you, but I'm going to sue Terry Marsh, or I will sue Terry Marsh. So pretty clear. He told the court that he issued the writ here. He's going to sue him because he wants to put the record straight. He claimed he found out about Terry's condition the same time everybody else did when he read it in the newspaper after the contract was signed.
That's fucked up.
So that's what he says. So it's at this point, Terry's got his own stuff going on. He does a film. He's acting now.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Well, he's not a handsome man.
Okay.
So he has an acting role in the 89 film Tank Mauling.
What?
Tank Mauling. And has since written and published, obviously, his autobiography, is what it says on IMDb. Tank Mauling, re-released as Beyond Soho in the UK and Crossfire in America, I don't know, is a 1989 British thriller film directed by James Marcus, starring Ray Winstone. Okay, then. The film was released in the USA under Double Cross and in Canada as Double Intrigue and in UK as Beyond Soho. Oh, Jesus Christ. Pick a fucking name.
Find one that's not copyrighted somewhere and stick with it.
Just pick a name and go with it.
That's probably because those are copyrighted somewhere else, right? It's got to be.
They just think it's a better market thing, too. Synopsis of it: a nightmare of vice and corruption. Oh, not a nightmare of vice and corruption. Stretching to the very heart of the police force, to the cabinet.
Oh,
not the cabinet, I guess.
Where do they keep the coffee?
Oh, Tank is a person.
Oh.
Tank, Ray Winstone.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Is an investigative reporter and jailbird.
What?
What?
He's a reporter that was in jail?
So he's a criminal investigative reporter. Those are usually different. Framed on scant evidence supplied by the London mob.
And framed
by the London mob. Scant evidence, my God. Now, Helen, who's Amanda Donahoe, it says, is the sensuous call girl who offers Tank ammunition and retribution. But retaliation is swift and brutal in the guise of Sir Robert Knight, who is Peter Wingard, and his equally lethal lawyer, Duboyne, who's Jason Connery. Is he related to Sean in some way? Sure. Probably how he got this. A series of hideous murders follow as the devil protects his own. Do you have any idea what the fuck that means?
No.
I have no idea.
I've heard cops and mob and investigators
the
and
devil,
criminals and the devil.
A prostitute, right? Was there a prostitute?
Yeah, she was a call girl.
Call girl, guy named Tank.
Yep. That's all I know.
Cops, call girls. I feel like something's going to blow up. I don't know what's going on here. But Terry plays Curly in his role. So there's that. It's a 5.1 out of IMDb.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Wow.
Not the best.
So somebody liked it.
Apparently, I'm not the worst. So he says he's bummed out about not boxing anymore.
Really?
He says it's like he doesn't exist anymore.
You're in movies with Ray Whitmore.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't think that's his name.
No, it wasn't.
It's Ray Winstone. So, come on, you're in movies with Amanda Donahoe. No, you aren't. You happy? And Peter Wingard. I've seen him before. Okay, so not the same anymore. He says this is his whole thing. You know what? Let's give him an in their own words.
Great.
I think he needs one because this is really, he's going to let you know how he feels about a lot of shit here. So let's give him in their own words. Quote, prior to winning the world title, I had been European champion and everything else. Now, I don't send Christmas cards. I don't agree with it. And it's a nice thing because the people who send me Christmas cards are sending them because they want to, not because they have to. But nonetheless, when I was in the limelight, the amount of cards I used to get was incredible. And they came from all sorts of people in corporate bodies. It was amazing. Lo and behold, I come away from it and all the Christmas cards stop.
Nobody sends me anything.
Nobody sends me Christmas cards anymore. Isn't that sad? Oh, my God.
It's in the limelight because I rhyme tight.
It's in the limelight because I rhyme tight. Time to get paid. Well, wow, that's ahead of the time lyric.
It really was.
Like the World Trade.
Yeah, 93.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's when it blew up the first time. So then he says, it is really an indication of how things change. I've done nothing different, but 1 year and you're running out of display room. 1 year you're running out of display room for them, and the next year they're gone.
Then I got to hawk them.
Hey, you got nothing. I got no fucking cards. Nobody gets me anything. He says, Jesus, then he gets a real stretch here. You're like, I think he might have been hitting the head one too many times. He says, quote, I can see why people talk about your Holyfields and Mike Tyson's coming back.
Why?
Yeah, because they make $40 million when they come back. That's why they come back. They go, fuck, I can make generational wealth in one night. I think I'll just do it quick.
That, and they don't have the brain issues that he does.
Or they might, and they just don't care.
Yeah,
Holyfield's got problems.
For sure.
That guy,
For sure.
I mean,
that's over for him.
Tyson sounds the same as he always did because he never really gets hit that much. Holyfield, just in headbutting, would have destroyed his brain. He headbutted his way to brain damage. He fucking earned that shit.
He did it on his own.
Headbutting people constantly. Like, that's what you get, dummy. So he says, I can see why people talk about your Holyfields and your Mike Tyson's coming back because they want the acclaim again. Financially, you often need to come back as well. Even if you get good paydays as a fighter, you have a hell of a lot of years ahead of you in your future, and you've got to make that money work down the line. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's important, too, is Holyfield, when he was buying, building $25 million houses and shit, I don't think he realized I should probably stop fighting someday, and then I'm going to have to live on this money.
Right. That is a thing that I think constantly.
And everybody does
I am horrified and scared to death of spending $1.
That's how it is with a lot of people.
No idea what's going to happen ever. And that kind of house.
But that's like, he extends himself for tens of millions of dollars. It's fucking crazy.
And with no guarantee that he's going to get more fights.
Well, I mean, he could hurt himself. Yeah. It's not even like, I can keep fighting for another 5 years. What if he hurts himself?
Right.
What if he fucking...
Which he did.
What if your brain doesn't work anymore? I mean...
What if you walk around that house and piss your pants in it every day?
For us to fuck up,
then
something
what?
Crazy would have to happen. Yeah. I mean, it's not, otherwise we're fine. I could burn you with acid from head to toe and we could still do the fucking show every week and no one would notice or care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's great. So you could be a head sitting on the chair.
That's why you do this.
And we'll be fine.
That's why you burned me like this every day.
I burned you. I did it. I did burn him. Trying to get him. So he says, you realize in the long term there probably isn't enough money for you to live on and you have to work. Then you are stuck because you can only go and do what you have done before, and that's boxing, but now you're older.
Yeah.
This all makes sense. Yeah, obviously. It's all obvious. So November the 30th, 1989, Frank Warren, who is Terry's promoter, he is getting out of his Rolls Royce, okay? It's a Rolls-Royce limo.
Yeah.
He's getting out of it at a London boxing promotion here. It's a chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce limo. And as he gets out of the limo, a man runs up, a masked man comes up and fires 2 shots into his chest.
Oh.
.22 Luger, 2 shots, one just misses the lung.
Jesus.
Frank goes down. He's still alive, but he's taken to the hospital. He's on life support for several days. A lot of problems. He ends up making a full recovery, but he is shot twice by a masked man in the street.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, the man is described as a white guy, about 5'10".
Yeah.
Regular build.
Super British.
Gun, yeah. British. He said he did that. He said, "Take that, isn't it?" And he walked away.
Called him a bell end and ran.
Take that, bell end, isn't it? He took off.
It's my favorite insult of all time.
Goes.
Fucking bell end.
I like that too. I like a bell end too. That's a funny ass. It's a funny insult.
That is clever as shit, you
it's
bastards.
So fucking funny. So they said that the police said the gunman probably waited in the area for about a half hour beforehand. And after that, a passenger in the car struggled with the gunman, who ended up taking off and escaping out of here. And like we said, Warren's on life support. The gunman takes off. They never catch him. They don't catch him from the scene there. So he ends up surviving the shooting. The detective superintendent at this point said it's impossible to say that at this moment that there's a definite link with the boxing scene, but we're pursuing a number of avenues, including talking to members of the boxing fraternity. Well, if someone just comes up and shoots you and doesn't rob you, you can probably assume they didn't like you for some reason.
That's personal as shit.
If all you do is boxing, probably start there. I mean, they don't know if it's a woman or something,
Sure.
or some angry husband or some shit. He could be banging a married woman. We don't know.
That's what police works for.
Yeah. So basically, the business, he's got a lot of enemies, this guy, too. He's British Don King, basically, is how he's described. So that'll make you some enemies, is what I'm getting at. So they said there's a lot of suspects, including a looming libel case between Warren and Marsh.
Still going.
Warren was filing a lawsuit for libel against Marsh during this whole thing. This was all ongoing. And the police believe that Marsh may have the strongest personal motive to do this, between the bad blood between the two of them and the ongoing litigation here. So they go and they question Terry, and they search his home, and they find a box of ammunition.
Yeah.
Which not everybody has over there. Over here, it's like, yeah, so what?
So?
Over there, they're like, why do you have bullets? It's a fucking actual thing. So he explained that he has bullets because he used to be a Marine.
Okay.
So, I like to shoot stuff, and I have bullets and things. These bullets were not the same caliber as in the attack. I believe these were 38 bullets, and the 22s were used in the attack. So there is that, at least, but he does have bullets, whereas anybody else in the investigation, I don't think they came up with anybody else that has
live ammunition
with them. So what they do 2 months after the shooting, there's no forensic evidence, but based on circumstantial evidence, they arrest Terry for attempted murder.
Really?
They arrest him, attempted murder, and he remains in custody for about 10 months here.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah, he's remanded, and it's attempted murder. He's arrested at Gatwick Airport outside London after flying in from the U.S., where he was watching Nigel Benn's victory in the United States. He gets off the plane, and they come and arrest him for attempted murder. So, they said that, quote, we have detained a man aged 31 with the connection of the Frank Warren shooting. He comes from Essex, and he's been taken to the police station in East London. So there he is. They question him for more than 32 hours before they file charges.
Oh, my.
That's way over the time of when that's way too long.
24 here, right?
Here, it's once they hit 8 to 10, they go, everything here is going to be useless, basically. Unless he comes out and says, I'll show you where the body is. Yeah. Anything he says, he's going to get thrown out of fucking court.
They can only hold him for 24 without charges, though.
It depends on the situation, because he's not technically... they did arrest him, so he is under arrest, but they're questioning him. They can charge him. They're just questioning him for 32 hours.
Got it.
So they get him in a room and question him for 32 hours. He said, here, the general rule of thumb is after about 8 hours, and you better have been given bathroom breaks and food and water and all that shit. After about 8 hours, most judges are tossing that shit, saying it was coerced. So
maybe a nap?
Yeah, maybe a nap. So something like that. So 32 hours is above and beyond the whole thing here. He's also charged with possession of ammunition without a firearms certificate. So you got to have that there. So 10 months he's in jail. He says that he decided to play by the rules of prison life. That's what he said. I decided to play by the rules of prison life, which I don't know how else you're going to do it. He said, but when regulations would be fucked with him, basically. They would fuck with him with certain regulations. He said, so he began to wage a war of insolence against his jailers.
What is that?
He's going to be pissy with them. He's going to be a pain in the ass. He said that he would do a clean protest. You know, they do dirty protests, is putting shit all over your cell. Right. He, instead, would smear himself in body oil. Smear himself in like baby oil, and then when they do cell removal ahead of shit,
he's slippery.
He'd be super slippery, and they couldn't hold on to him. You son of a bitch bastard. Just being an asshole. Not illegal, technically, but being funny. A dick. Yep. He said it was not just disobedience for the sake of causing trouble. It was civil disobedience in the face of an unfair system.
Yeah.
He really likes to he knows how to make an excuse for himself. That's one thing about this guy. He can spin some shit to be like, well, it's not that. It's actually this.
So I'm trying to get the guards horny.
Yeah, there's also that. I oil myself.
Baby, it's so hot.
You never know. He says it's a battle of wills with the authorities. It happened because they were so-called rules or the law. I am not a great advocate of following the law.
We know.
And hence why you're on a show called Crime in Sports.
Yeah.
So, you know, that should be like our standard. Everyone on our show, every episode should say, I'm not a great advocate of following the law, clearly. For example, I do not go out and burgle someone's house because the law tells me burglary is illegal. I don't burgle houses because I know it is wrong. The law does not guide me. I am guided by my own codes of conduct.
Okay. I'm a good person. I don't need the law.
Yeah. What does that tell you, though, when you're up for shooting somebody who you think has wronged you? That just sounds bad to say that.
Yeah.
I get he's saying it about some other context, but he's saying that ends justify the means if it's worth it. So it's like... So if you're saying a guy's a bad guy, you could shoot him. Mm-hmm. If he's fucking people over and hurting people, like, I don't know, maybe, who knows? He says, though, forever, what was it here? Law does not guide me. However, for that particular time, being banged up as I was for 10 months as well, speaking of which, I was sent to remand by the magistrate, and I think they only have the authority to sentence someone for 6 months. After that time, it goes to Crown Court. There is a big anomaly right there. The point is that I realized I was there in prison because of the rules set by law, and I had to go through what I went through. I was initially quite happy to go along with that. What the fuck are you talking about? He's been hit a lot.
Yeah.
This is like a British...
I was fine with it.
It sounds like a scrambled British brain. It's fucking weird. I don't know if it's true, but... He says, as it turns out, I was expected to adhere to the law without struggle. It's jail. They generally appreciate that. I'm not saying it's, you know. He said, when it came to the authorities living up to their part of the bargain and their own rules.
Goddamn double standards.
I found that they just ignored the rules completely. Bastards. I automatically thought, hang on a moment. You want me to abide by your rules, so you should abide by your rules. Any confrontations I had were all cases where they were not doing their jobs and not adhering to the rules they had laid down. So, not my fault.
Right.
Basically, you're not getting what jail is what it is. You're thinking like, this isn't boarding school.
Right.
Like,
guards don't go to cells afterwards. Like as the shift is done, they don't go back to their bunk.
No.
They go home to a place where they're free.
Yeah.
Because they can do what they want.
And go like have sex with a woman or a man or whoever they want.
Whoever they choose.
Whoever they choose.
They're going to go have sex is the point.
They're not being forced into it.
Right.
So Frank Warren, let's talk about his shooting for a second. When they asked him what he remembered about it, he said, quote, it hurt.
Yeah.
Well, no shit.
I'm sure.
It made me jump. He said it was a surreal moment. It's not something you were expecting to happen. Okay. I would think not. I was just getting out of my car in Barking. Colin McMillan was fighting there. I was just getting out of the car and I heard a bang. I thought it was a car backfiring. I looked around and I've seen somebody standing there holding a gun. First of all, I thought it was a joke. I was looking around and I thought, what's all this about?
What's all this about?
What's all this about, isn't it? It sounds so British. Someone shot him in the chest twice, and his response was, what's all this about?
It's pretty amazing.
Oh, my God. That's the most British fucking thing anybody's ever done or said. Bang, bang. What's all this about? Why am I bleeding from the lung? What the fuck?
I can't catch me breath.
What is that for? Oh my God, that's amazing. What's this all about? Oh my God. What's all this about? I could see him shaking a bit. Then there was a click, and I realized there was another bang, and I felt pain in my side. What had happened, it had gone in my chest, and I was standing at an angle, and thankfully it went through my lung. I thought it missed his lung, it went through his lung, and I lost half a lung and came out. So he ends up getting a piece of his lung fixed up, surgified. A friend of mine, a barrister, called John Buttress. He went, what the hell are you doing? And jumped on him. So apparently that's what happened. And then the guy got away. I didn't realize I suddenly felt this gurgling in my throat. And because obviously the blood through my lungs had gotten into my throat.
Yeah, you're drowning.
That's what drowning is. He said, and then I was losing my breath. I went down on one knee, and I remember my late Uncle Bob coming out and my brother Robert. They were standing over me. They were helping, and they said, get a doctor, get a doctor. I thought he was saying they were like, he was picturing ghosts.
Right.
I thought he was like,
my late uncle was.
I thought I was dead because my late uncle came to help me out, say, come on, old chap, come on up to heaven. Isn't it? But instead, it was this. He said, get a doctor, get a doctor. At every show, we have doctors, and the Boxing Board of Control's doctor came out. I remember him saying, have you got a handkerchief? I said, yeah. He said, hold it on. At the time, the ambulances were all on strike. Jesus Christ almighty. So the next minute, they bundled me into the back of a police van. What a fucking mess. They done like a 16-point turn up the curbs and everything. Just to turn around with that British siren. And they drove me off to the hospital. They said, they asked him, do you think it was a case of someone trying to settle a score? And he said, quote, I don't know about a score being settled, just a lunatic. But at the end of the day, I'm here doing what I've always been doing, and that's all that matters. They asked him a little more. Do you know who did it? What happened? Who did it? And he said, yeah, I do now. I don't know. I didn't know then, but I do now. Yeah. And the guy said, you get lunatics, don't you? Or he says it, you get lunatics, don't you? Or that's kind of like his, isn't it? You get lunatics, isn't it? He said the Pope got shot. Ronald Reagan got shot. You're not the Pope or Ronald Reagan either. It happens, doesn't it? It just happens. You find a lunatic, and actually an incompetent lunatic at that. Very lucky to get away with it. So I guess he's very lucky not to get killed. He said, and even if I knew who it was then, and at that time I was in court because I wouldn't want to be openly committing perjury. Had I known who it was then, I still wouldn't have said, because rightly or wrongly, that's the way I was brought up. That's how it is. Afterwards, you find out, and obviously you want to settle things. Obviously, that's in your head. My family, I come from Islington. They're a well-known family in Islington, and I know they wanted to sort things out, and I just wouldn't go down that road.
Bad people.
So he's saying, yeah, I guess his family wanted to go find who did it and kill them. He said, for me, that would have been a defeat. My thing was to stay relevant and do what I was trying to do. I had a big problem. I had London Arena at the time. We built it, and it was a massive problem for us. We were just doing a big syndication deal, and the banks had just backed off with it. I was then fighting on two fronts, fighting for my life and fighting to keep my business going. So Terry goes on trial. The prosecution says that Terry has an overwhelming motive for trying to kill Frank Warren. That's their thing. They say that it would have stopped the libel action, which he would have probably lost. So that was a big deal. The defense argued that the evidence of one witness, Peter Harris, was not conclusive. Harris claimed that Marsh had admitted the shooting when they were both awaiting trial in prison. So it's a jailhouse confession. So those are not exactly the most reliable. When you have somebody who says that he told me this, and we were the only ones there, and now this helps me get out of prison earlier, that happens a lot. So there's a lot of guys that, like, if they're like a pro in crime, they've done this a lot, and they are in for something like that, they don't want a cellmate. They'll do something to get thrown in solitary because they know that this fucking cellmate's going to say that you admitted to it and try to get a lower sentence. So, the defense argued that was bullshit. The judge instructed the jury to approach this evidence with very great caution. Only rely on it if you're totally satisfied he is telling the truth and there's evidence to support the account he's giving. The judge pointed out that there had been no positive identification of Marsh as the masked man who shot Warren. He urged the jury to be careful about the evidence of 2 witnesses who said the gunman resembled him. Because they said it looked like his frame and his hair or some shit. It was very, very iffy. So also during the trial, the prison confession was used against him as well. So that's all there is there. Now, Marsh did not appear to give evidence. He did not testify on his own behalf here. So it goes to trial, or it goes to the jury.
Yep.
They find him not guilty of attempted murder.
Oh, boy.
They didn't have any proof.
Yeah.
They had no forensics. They had 2 guys who said, I think it was him. Yeah. And then one guy, a prison confession, which is, take that with what it is. I don't know what his cellmate was in there for.
Do they have double jeopardy there?
But I don't think you can. No, I think once you're acquitted, you're acquitted. I'm not sure that there might be some special. I don't remember. We went over this once before, and now it's confusing me. So it's confusing the shit out of me now. So it wasn't a unanimous verdict of not guilty. You don't need a unanimous verdict. So 4 hours of deliberation. They just said not guilty, not even unanimously. So there was jurors that would have convicted him of attempted murder. So his lawyer said that after 10 months in prison, he just wanted to go home. So he goes home, and during the 1990s, he's got problems again. He's charged with fraud and deception over receivership of a student grant. This is very weak stuff here. He's also accused of the illegal removal of and theft of a wheel clamp for like a parking boot. Yeah. Okay.
He's taking those off.
Yeah. As far as the grant goes, he assumed that he was entitled to a student grant while taking his MA in contemporary political history. His defense was that he had made a harmless mistake there. So he went to court, and the jury said, yes, it was a harmless mistake. It wasn't criminal. You're fine. So the jury returned not guilty after 12 minutes of deliberation on that. So they went, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Right.
This is absurd, right? You guys want to go home?
Okay, let's go home now. He jokingly asked them what had taken so long, only to be told that the time had to be spent electing a foreman. So it took them 12 minutes to elect a foreman and find him not guilty. So they knew he was not. That wasn't even a question. He ends up while awaiting that trial, he studied sociology and politics and graduated from the old University of East London in 1994. 1997, he decides he's going to enter politics.
Oh boy.
That's what I mean. Could you get worse? So he goes into the Labour Party here. We don't know British politics really that well, but he starts to go for the 1997 general election, but was forced to withdraw from the contest by the party when he was charged with the fraud and deception and all that sort of shit. So that was a problem. And he says that he was a victim of a political smear, and the loan application. He said the loan application only came to light when there was a breach of confidentiality on the part of a local counselor. So that's what he said. He said, the thing is, I had political ambitions, but they say a week is a long time in politics, and for me, that was my whole political career. I put my head above the parapet and they shot at me.
So he quit.
He quit then. Yeah, that one. He just said whatever. He said, I was accused of fraud and deception. I found that a little bit irritating, as anyone would. Yeah. He said, to be accused of fraud and deception, as it actually qualifies me for a career in politics or the House of Lords at the least. So he's making fucking, he's got jokes.
Oh, if I'm crooked, then I fit right in, motherfuckers.
Ba-da-ba. He's writing and self-publishing his book. That's when that comes out, 2005. It's called Undefeated.
Yeah.
He says, in many ways, it was the platform for my story. It was a good chance to get my version of events out there. But saying that, I did take it as far as I could go. As I mentioned in the book, it is all about proof, not truth. So it's not the whole truth, but everything that is in there that I approve of right now. Wow, he's kind of a dick. He said, I've not been doing anything on the boxing front. I was working promoting this book. I've taken the book as far as it can go. I've had an uphill struggle with the book. I was the publisher, the author, you name it. So he self-published it. Yeah. He said, the one thing I wasn't was the proofreader, which is probably something that you were aware of. There wasn't actual problems with the proofreading. It was just done sufficiently. It just wasn't done sufficiently. Apparently, there's some grammatical errors in this book. There's some stuff going on in this book. Having that said, I have had mixed reviews about it, and some focused on the proofreading, the reviews, because there is some shit. There's grammatical errors, basically, but I'm more of a fighter than a writer, so I hope people can forgive me for that.
Yeah.
He said, on the other hand, it goes to show you that the book was written by me, as opposed to ghostwritten. 99.9% of all other books are written by someone other than the author. The mistakes show that it was 100% written by me.
I'm a dummy.
No writer would not know how to write that badly. He says, in many ways, it was a platform for my story. That's what he says. He goes back to that. So 2007, he has some trouble on a train. He has a run-in with some rail security people they don't work for the government. They're like hired private rail security people on a train in a tube station here. It leads the guys to attack him and throw him on the ground and fucking rough him up. Wow. These guys, right? They rough him up and, he gets beat up a little bit and then he ends up suing them later on. But he says, basically, it was a couple of railway employees or thugs abusing their position. For me, a person in authority abusing their position is like a red rag to a bull. Okay. He pisses him off. I played a passive role throughout the so-called assault, aware that should I actually react, I would be locked up and they would probably throw away the key. I was passive at that time and had my day later on. Said, I went to the police. Unfortunately, they lost all the evidence, much to my disappointment. So I had to take out a private prosecution against the railway company, who subsequently capitulated and, more importantly, apologized for the thugs they were employing at the time. The security contractors lost the contract as a result. I don't think those sort of people should be dealing with the public anyway. Now we have a less belligerent railway security service as opposed to a few years back. So he sues for the train incident. They claim that his ticket was out of date.
Okay.
They threw him to the ground, roughed him up because his ticket was out of date. They claimed.
Strict enforcement.
Yeah, they told him he had to buy another or wait for the police, and they told him to wait even longer, I guess, because the cops were taking forever, and he said, I don't have fucking time for this. I'm walking away, and he went to board the train, and that's when they pulled him off and roughed him up and threw him on the ground and fucked him all up. He said they were thugs. They pulled me to the floor. They held me prisoner. The way I was treated by C2C, I guess that's the company, was diabolical. They only apologized last week. Diabolical. That could have come sooner. So he said, basically that. So he said, in this whole thing, he ends up winning a $5,000. You, sir, may take £5,000 in compensation for being beaten up by those people. 2009, he sets up a new political party.
A whole party.
A whole party.
What is it called?
It's called NOTA, N-O-T-A.
It's an acronym?
That stands for none of the above.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does it... Isn't that a movie?
I think so.
Isn't that like isn't that the plot of a movie?
Well, he's a 2010 candidate on the general election as an independent for the seat in the seat of South Basildon and East Thurrock.
Okay.
Thurrock. He changed his name by deed poll to, quote, none of the above X.
Jesus.
So that's his nickname, I guess. None of the above X, or the fighting fireman.
Or no tax.
As a protest against there being no facility to select none of the above as an option on the paper ballot. Under UK law, a political party cannot call itself none of the above, but the restriction does not apply to candidate names. The party can't call itself that, but he can call himself that. Okay?
Well, here's the thing. None of the above it's on every ballot because you just don't vote.
That's the other thing. Well, he wants to show that how much they don't like anybody. His chosen surname of X was on purpose also, meant that he would likely be the last entry on the ballot paper, and he didn't want to win.
Got it.
He said that if he won, he would not take his seat. So he received 125 votes, placing last out of 6 candidates. So not good.
125 is not bad.
That's not bad. Let's see here. 2011, libel action against him. I get a lot of libel going back and forth over there. Apparently, Frank Warren has decided it's time to sue him over that 1989 interview.
Really?
That he said, yeah. So he's finally suing him for it, but he's suing him for it. Yeah. Libel against him. They, for the whole thing, for what he said on TV. The jury goes in 2.5 hours. The jury agreed by a 10-1 majority that Mr. Warren gave Thames Television permission to broadcast the interview, which said when we said that libelous shit. When they asked him, mind if we air it? He said, I don't care what you're going to do. I'm suing him anyway. That meant that he was giving permission for them to air that shit, and he didn't think it was libelous, is what the court decides. So you can go fuck yourself at that point.
Yep.
The jury decided that the words were defamatory, but they couldn't agree on whether they were true or not. Said if they were true, it's really shitty, but if they're true, they're true. So they couldn't decide if Frank did know about the epilepsy. So if it's true, then he could say it. So they were like, it's shitty, but it might be true.
Right.
Then it couldn't be decided whether it was or not. So anyway, Mr. Warren now, he has to pay 100,000 pounds in legal costs.
Holy shit.
That's the thing. If you sue for libel and don't win, you got a lot of money that you got to shell out.
That's horrible.
So that's how it should be. If you're going to sue someone for libel, you better be fucking sure of it.
Yeah, you
to
better
sue
win.
people for libel. Otherwise, you get people left and right. You could file lawsuits all over the place. He successfully sued two newspapers over the similar allegations and won 100,000 pounds, and now they're going to want that back. So he said he would consider appealing against the verdict. He said it's obviously the jury decided it was defamatory. They just couldn't decide who was telling the truth. Terry said that he denied libel and described the verdict as a complete vindication. Said, having cleared my past, I can now look forward to the future. He 2013 is looking forward to he can look forward to being fired from his job. He is fired as for city job for whistleblowing. They said,
what the fuck?
They must have said something. He was ousted for telling bosses about excessive risks his firm were taking. He cleared a bid. They were talking about that. What was it? He was made redundant in 2012, November, 6 months after voicing concerns at a London investment firm, TAM Asset Management. But director Len Oram said Terry lost his job due to a reduced workload, claiming at times, quote, he was doing nothing. So,
it must be great.
Right? 2014, he starts doing something else. You'll never guess what it is.
Porn.
No.
I was close.
How about chess boxing?
Yep. Wait, what? Isn't that boxing?
Isn't that a Wu-Tang song? Yeah. Yes, it is.
Chess boxing.
Raw, I'm going to give it to you with no trivia.
Right.
Yes. 2014, chess boxing. We'll describe it, a hybrid sport that combines two traditional pastimes, chess and boxing.
What do you get to punch each other when you take a rook? When you conquer the knight, you get to blast him in the mouth?
You fucking move your bishop, take that queen, and then I get to pop you one. Pow! 2 pops for a queen, 1 for a pawn. So the basic idea is to combine the number one thinking sport with the number one sport that scrambles your brain and see how that works.
Right, see if you can keep thinking.
They go round by round.
Okay.
You fight, you chess. You fight, so you got to try to figure out chess moves with a head full of fucking punches. So
they got like a board on the side of the ring.
In the ring.
In the ring.
I'll show you a picture here.
I can't imagine.
So it's particularly popular in Germany, India, and Russia. Of course.
Yeah.
It is first coined, the term chess boxing, first coined in the Kung Fu movie Mystery of Chess Boxing, which is why they called the Wu-Tang song Mystery of Chess Boxing. And that it became a big thing. Wow, that's wild. Opponents fight in the comic book version, opponents fight an entire boxing match and then face each other in chess. Okay. That's how it works. Here, finding this impractical, they thought it'd be better to have alternating rounds of chess and boxing, which is fucking...
Do you ever get to the end of the game?
Well, here we go. A chess boxing match can end by any of the following. Victory by knockout or technical knockout in boxing.
Yeah.
Victory by checkmate in chess.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So he could be whooping your ass in boxing, but then the round starts and you can knock his ass out, and then it doesn't matter how good at chess he is, or vice versa. Let's see. Loss due to exceeding the chess game's time control. 9 minutes with no increment. Okay. Victory due to disqualification of their opponent by the referee due to inactivity due to overextended playing time, chess or boxing rounds following multiple warnings. Whoa. Lost by resignation if they quit. In the case that neither of the chess boxers wins in regulation time and the chess game ends in a draw, the fighter who's ahead on boxing points wins the overall.
I love this.
This is wild. In the case, in case the scoreboard is also tied, the fighter that used the black chess pieces will be named the winner.
Oh, I don't like
due
that
to the
at all.
first move advantage in chess.
I don't like that at all.
This has not occurred yet in practice.
Okay,
you have to be tied for everything.
Yeah.
Here is Terry.
Oh my God!
That's what they're doing. Look at this, bro.
How old is that man?
He's born in 58, so
his chest, James, looks
60.
70.
Yeah, he's 60, but he's still got cut in it though.
Yeah.
But
wow.
He's in his 60s.
That is intense. He's shirtless, playing chess.
Playing chess with wraps on his hands and headphones on, I guess, for concentration because people are talking and yelling. There's people watching this.
This is unbelievable.
It's fucking crazy.
I want to watch it.
So Terry in chess boxing faces a 28-year-old Italian Filippo Gubini, who has more than 50 bouts under his belt in his first one.
Of chess
boxing. Yeah. He says, to be perfectly honest, I'm expecting to get bashed up and I will be relying on my chest to pull me through, is what Terry said. That is the fascination of it, really. There's a hell of a lot of tactics involved. You can be strong on chess and weak on boxing, or vice versa. I've always played chess and I've always boxed. It was really just training for the sake of training. There was no target. It occurred to me that chess boxing would be something I could aim for. He has a fiance at this point, Debbie Dorling, and whose ex-husband or husband at the time was killed in a cycling. She killed cycling in 2011. Jesus Christ. Why'd they put that in the article?
She used to be married. I was murdered by a car.
Anyway, isn't it?
Anyway, he took a taxi up the ass.
He doesn't want to take advantage of the fact that he's a world-class boxer. He would rather win on the chessboard, is what she said. Terry was world-class. Tim Woolgar, chief executive of London Chess Boxing, said Terry was chess champion at the age of 12. He's always maintained a strong interest in playing chess. So there's that. Then he won the World Chess Boxing Association welterweight title against Daimar Agasararian from Armenia.
Yeah.
So he's very excited.
Yeah.
Imagine him polishing it on his mantle, the trophy. Look at me. I hit or chessed that guy better. This is amazing.
In his 60s.
In his 60s. Really weird shit. And the strangest thing about it is he's sitting there and, he's polishing. He's very proud. And he gets an unexpected knock on the door. He's like, who the hell is this now? What the hell's going on? Maybe they want to see my trophy.
Yeah.
He opens the door and it's Vince McMahon, CEO of the WWE. And he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? My God, look at you. Yeah, I don't understand it. My guys, they get hit in the head a couple of times. They sue me. They don't know what to do. They take somas and they fall asleep in their dinner. And that's fine. You want to be in politics, though. That's what I'm interested in. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about independent contractor status? That's the only question I have of whether I'll put my monetary support behind you. How do you feel about that?
The no party.
By the way, why don't you take your shirt off for just a minute here? Let me show you. Show me what won me that trophy, big guy. Let's do it. I mean, I'm sorry. I gotta go. Poof. In a poof of 1099s. He's gone. Vince got too excited.
You're not going to be impressed when he takes that shirt off. It's shit.
He wants to know. 2015, more politics.
Oh, boy.
He received 253 votes this time and was 6 out of 7.
Oh.
And they did no electioneer, no campaigning at all.
And doubled his votes. He's growing. May
4th, he is physically prevented from leaving a polling station related to a county election by the presiding officer. Marsh was taking his ballot paper with him rather than vote for any of the candidates available. He just took the ballot and was leaving.
You can't do that.
Well, having been detained against his will, they held him and told him he couldn't do that. He kneed the presiding officer in the balls.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, Terry.
What kind of dick move is that?
And in order to escape, and was charged with 2 offenses, fraudulent removal of a ballot paper from a polling station and assault and battery.
Yeah.
So, he's... up until this point, you feel bad for him, and then you're like, almost feel bad, but then it's kicking fucking dudes in the groin or trying to do their fucking job. Poll worker.
Volunteers.
Yeah, you're kneeing him in the fucking groin, you nutcase. That just sounds wrong. I mean, at that point, I don't feel bad for him as much. Not nearly as bad as I feel for these people, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The other Terry Marshes out there, because there's a lot of them.
Many.
Terry Marsh, EVP, Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Chris X in San Diego. Terry Marsh, Senior Vice President of Business Development at Partner Broad Street in New York City.
Could be a gal.
Could be a gal. Who knows? Terry Marsh, Department Specialist at Grocery Store Albertsons.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, in Black Canyon City, Arizona.
Oh, Jesus.
You poor bastard. I feel bad for you no matter what your fucking name is. Terry Marsh, Marketing and Business Development Executive, creating value and differentiation.
What?
I don't know what the fuck that's bullshit.
That person is swindling.
You're full of shit.
You have no product to sell.
Nope. And Terry Marsh, owner of law offices of TL Marsh in Chesterfield, Virginia. So
He's always a lawyer.
Always. He goes on trial for the groin kicking.
Yep.
Let's see. The first charge is dropped, the ballot one, and it's just the groin kicking. Apparently, it's not unlawful to take your vote home. They've decided. I don't know.
I suppose.
He said, in the past, I've always just told them to call the police if they think taking it is illegal, and they usually just let me go. But on this occasion, I was in a rush because I had a hospital appointment. I went there to get my ballot paper, still didn't want to vote for anyone, so went to leave, and it caused this cacophony of shouting.
Well, why did you go if you weren't going to vote anyway?
That's what I just to take the ballot. He said, I used he said, I used unreasonable force to extract myself from a technical assault after just trying to exercise my democratic right. Taking the paper home is the only true way to protest the vote, as spoiling it just counts as uncertain. Because I was a boxer, a punch could have been seen as excessive. Okay. So anything to the groin is probably excessive. He said he was able to get up and chase me out to my car. Like, he wasn't hurt that bad. He got up and chased me when I ran away.
Yeah.
He said, though, his defense of self-defense was rejected by the court. They said that he was entitled to use self-defense, but not to kick somebody in the balls for it or knee somebody in the groin. Yeah. He lost an appeal here and is ordered to pay a 600-pound fine, 100-pound compensation, and 620 pounds of prosecution costs, and a $60 victim surcharge. 1,380 pounds, I guess, here, due to an assault. He says, I'm disappointed it didn't go my way, but there's a bigger picture. I've actually been able to prove that you're able to take your paper ballot home. I was initially charged with electoral fraud, but they had to drop it because it's not an offense to take it home, so I respect it as a small victory. The judge told me I should have called the police when I was being held against my will. The point is the court recognized I was being detained unlawfully. He's really got a lot of talking going on here. He said that he was also disappointed they dropped the election charge fraud thing because he wanted to open court. He wanted to fight the whole system and blah, blah, blah. So there he is. He does say, quote, I'll also be pursuing Basildon Council for unlawful detention. It's just halftime and I'm down 1-0. Or I'm 1-0 down. That's what he says. You are one crime in sports down. That is Terry Marsh. Can't get enough? Boy. Fucking vote for him. He doesn't want you to, but vote for him anyway.
I am shocked that he's in politics.
Right?
And he's being a dick about it.
Oh yeah, shocking. Yeah, that's
why get into politics.
I don't get it. People have been doing it for fucking. I don't get it. That's the thing now. So vote for him. It'll really piss him off. So there you go. Hold on to him. He'll knee you in the groin. Yeah, anything here. So that is Terry Marsh, everybody. And we love a good British story. Yeah. And that's always fun. And brain damage British stories. Brain damage British chess playing boxers. We haven't got that one before. So that's a new one. So if you enjoyed that, I know what you can do. I have an idea. Why don't you get over on Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars?
Yes.
It helps a lot. We don't know why, but it helps drive us up the charts. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for everything crime and sports and Small Town Murder. All your merchandise is there. And listen to Small Town Murder if you haven't. What are you doing? If you like this show, that's got all sorts of murder. You're going to love it. Trust me. So listen to Small Town Murder. Also listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie because I'm forced to watch all the Twilights. So fucking help me out there. Jesus Christ. Do that. Follow us on social media at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. while you're at it, why don't you get on Patreon, because we have so much good stuff on Patreon. If you sign up for Patreon, by the way, at the $5 or above level, you get access to both shows' Patreon.
Everything.
The whole back catalog of them. Everything. This week upcoming, last week we had the, or whatever, 2 weeks ago, we had the Goodfellas, the Mafia shit. And then this week we are going to have, the worst, or next episode, the worst wrestling characters ever that we can possibly find. I'm going to show Jimmie pictures, and he's going to shit that these people existed. So the Zebra Kid made me think of that, with that weird, there was some Mormon gimmick too that was weird. We got to do something like that. So we are going to do that for the next Patreon episode, and lots of stuff there. You can get it all at patreon.com/crimeinsports, patreon.com/crimeinsports.
Right.
And Jimmie will read your name at the end of the show, because you're a producer. Damn it. So you deserve to have your name mispronounced horribly. Yeah. Also, you can get your name mispronounced horribly if you go over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation. And that's just for good karma and to be a producer. And God damn it, we fucking appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, thank you for everything. We put as much effort as we can into the show, so to just know that you guys appreciate it. We just thank you guys 1,000,000%. Thank you. So, Jimmie, now that we've thanked them, let's read through the list of people that deserve thank you, the most wonderful people in the world. Hit me with them, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett. Brian Harbour donated 2 ways. Thank you so much, Brian.
Goodness. Of course. Hello. Oh, yeah.
That requires an explanation.
Yeah, probably. I'm on the phone, everybody. It's a long story.
Yeah.
Guys are probably like, why would Jimmie be at the studio and I'm on the phone? It's such a long explanation that we don't have time for it during
We'll get to it later.
We'll get to it later. There's a reason why I am in a remote location.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Jimmie has the shout-outs, and I want to give them, and damn it, I don't care where I am on the fucking moon.
We'll figure it out.
I want the people.
Right. The rest of the people executives this week are Joshua West, Natasha Patel, Sabrina Jones, Susanna Platt, Abby Artley, Amanda Jacobs, Jason Fuller. Sean Banner died, man.
Oh, man. By the way, yes.
I'm furious. Just
one of our story is Sean on Twitter, and one of our original listeners.
Yeah.
And man, we really that kills us. We met him multiple times in live shows.
What a guy!
What a nice guy, and we really liked him. And anybody who met him, you guys, if you met him at live shows or whatever, there just to let you know that he passed away.
An enormous personality, just a sweetheart. What a heart on that man! He really was. What a great nice guy. I'm gonna miss him terrible.
Just a teddy bear of a guy.
Truly, absolutely. Emily Roberts, Clay Thorson. Again, Clay is a goddamn hero. Thank you so much, Clay.
Thank you.
Edward Lee, Sherlyn Hyde, George Nyman, Sean Galloway, Marie Cephas, Lisa Williams, Sepulveda of the Allison variety, Fern and Irma, no last names for either, Andrew McLean, KG, and Tristan Whelan. Thank you guys so much. Truly, you're fucking amazing. Happy birthday this week, Kelly Danilovich and also Mackie. Both of them have birthdays. Say again.
Happy birthday to you.
My phone connection is awful, and you just said... It was terrible. Going on, other producers this week are Ashley Vio, Steve Schnell, April Penley, Sarah DeLeon, Peyton Meadows, Brendan Abels, Joshua Francoeur, Rabbi Shmulalovich, Zach Bunea, James Martyr, Reagan Shockley, Justin Zagorski, Cliff Martz, happy birthday Leslie Henderson, Janice Hill, Tim Holland, Carol Braun, Judd Spisdy, Georgia Metal Alliance, Howie Feltersnatch, Mariah Rasper, Milan Moore, Rachel Toko, Cindy Wilkin. Happy birthday, Thomas DeMello. And
happy birthday.
There's also Dominic DeCoco and Marcos Garlami. Genera, that's the guys from Inglourious Bastards. Danelle Randall, welcome home, Mark Tuan, Liz Face, Katie Miller, Marcus Garfunkel, TJ Maxx's birthday was last week. Happy birthday, TJ. Amanda Lucas. Scott Souza, Bradley James Ward, Delaney Robert, Jacqueline Brown, Greg Rickendaller, Andrew Anderson, Kristen Schulman, Jack Yacklin, Jake Fraser. Nope, that's Jack Fraser. Andrew Heller, Peter Hanshaw, Joshua Hazelman, Julia Larson, Johnston Davis, Kevin Nesgoda, Jimmy Noodle Legs, Haywood Jablomi, Danielle.
The woodwork today.
I know.
Filter snatch, Jablomi's hair. Good Lord. If Ben Dover comes to the party, we're going to have a fucking... It's over, man.
Danielle Vescalani, Lane Plush, Judy Anderson, Christina Baltes, Wade Steinprice, Ronan D, Marcus Evans, Dana Brown, Ashley Livingston, Shaylin, Austin Jensen, Nathan Tipton, Danielle Bashina, nope, Patience Rice, David Santana,
Reese or Rice? Those are very different.
Took Harkless, Michael and Joy Goodall Leonard, Luke Del Medico, Christine Ruxton, like the Teddy. That was Ruxpin. Brandon Vernoy, Carrie Clardy, Golden State Theater, Jenny Hendrickson, Karen Morris, Jordan Krim, Boss, Mark Lati Olayas. I'm just going to go real slow. Josh Top, Jen Lachese, Kaylee Jenkins, Nathan Wright, Melanie Curtis, JB9552, Jack Farrell, Joanna Bachhammer, Strong Arm Tactics, Chris the Great, Ben White, Christina Stunkard, Ivania Cabrera, Jeremy Lupe, Chloe Hammonds, Bree Alabama, Zach Cowan, Sheldon Stewart, Helena Souza, Whitney Pope, Sarah Group, Brandon Moe, Rochelle Largent, Jackie McDonald, Lyle Harrington, Eric Tycote. What else do we got here? Kristen Hansen, Sammy Maserly. Two fingers, Dave.
Scroll like the wind, Jimmy.
Chris Oster, Eric, and then also Eric Lovin, Keith Gillenwater, Tiffany O'Grady, Shelby Gallagher, Lauren Delagardelle, it's one of them, I think. Aaron with no last name, Cody Renaud, Victor Valente, Spencer Battersby, Jenna Narin, Nathaniel Higgers, Alex Wilson, Tim Foley, Araz Zengen, Don Walter, Julian Parney, James Calvert, Teresa Big, Joe G, Brendan Hine, hit him with the Hine, Kenny Craig, Laureen Gale Smith, Aaron Reichenbaugh, oh boy is that German, Harrison Boone, Nicole Powers, Chukies 75, Cliff Paquette. We met Cliff in fucking Boston, I think. That guy's awesome. Christine with no last name, V. Moore, Jasper, Brooke Howard, Shelley Harrell, I think, Darby and Jason, no last names, Carson Murdoch, Kelsey W., Amanda Bose, Big Ben, Emma Lenore Garza, Braden Kuykendall, Alicia Andrews, Melissa Pasola, Corey James Hode, Swest, Rochelle Amore, Kenny Johnson, Fruz with no last name, Benjamin Williams, Cody with no last name, Chris Clary, Ryan Crichton, Derek Orr, Jonathan Vasquez, Lisa Fletcher, Stacy H., Stephanie Fuchihashi.
He's on a roll.
Yeah, Derek S.
coming out like nobody's business.
Derek Elizondo, Matt Easy Reader Parker. Was that Matt? It is. Megan Halstead, Bianca Gamble, Chris Shear, Melanie Ide, Kristen Bradley, Scott Works, Alicia Nofke, Flora Sorrell, Mike Banning, Shelley with no last name, Jason Brinkman, Chad Thompson, Dustin with no last name, Benjamin Pearson, Andrew Soudin, Chris McDaniel, Mallory Maynard, Jonathan Winter, Robin Ladwig, Laura McCune, Brittany with no last name, Alexis Terrell, Mandy Olson, Shannon Argueta. What? No. You know what it is? It's, God damn it, that was my phone. Argetta.
You have to have it on. I'm on it.
Jay Sparks, Derek Heflin, Amy Driscoll, Zach Painter, Marquise Munson, Bob Richmond, Michael Gonzalez, that's Kyle, James Parbell, Mark Samples, Amanda with no last name, Cortland Fierro, Isabel Kitkin, Nora McIntosh, Callie Leo Leos, Lucille the Drag Queen, Kia with no last name, Carrie Backy Hansen, Morgan Smith, Allie Rose, that is, Josh Roy, Sue Paco, Ashley McKeever, Sam Simmers, Jake Front, Marilyn Rogers, Sam and Rachel Christofferson. Yes. It's hard to say Christofferson. God damn it, I can't have interruptions right now. No, I'm not turning you off, James. I'm hitting the fucking sound off. There we go. I can turn that off and you're still there, right? Yeah. We're good. All right. Michael Papa. Yes, Michael Papa. Sam and Rachel Christofferson. Michael Papa. Gary Eubank. I'm going to get past those two names. Madison Poletsky. Chris Larkins. Yes. Maria with no last name. Jack Griffin. Shane Spigner. Sarah Bruneski. Randy Diaz. Holly Catherine Jackson. Jennifer Luengrith. Bobby Tournier. Erica Martinez, Jason Williams, Alexandria Ketchpaw. What'd you say? Yeah, I think that's right. Matt A., Kimberly Cooey, Ben Merrill, Dustin Cochin, Ruben Lee Raquero. Never going to get it. Tracy Vaughn, Eric Grisham, Wynn with no last name, Jed Lynch, Jacob Tietke, Heather with no last name, Fritz with no last name, Regina Beth Cole, Eric Paulson, Cody Jaggers, Christian Parrish, The Lion King 34, Ray Harbin, James Wiggerich, Kat Hawkins, Colin Walker, Marvin Masubo, Mike Clues, Elizabeth Harrell, Amy Lee, Nicholas Myers, Danae Lynn, Miguel Robles, Two Brothers Lawn Service, Kubi with no last name, David Troyer, like Vern Troyer, Stephen Smith, Dissociated Podcast, Lindy with no last name, Justin Getz, Rita Valagiarvi.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Chris Stansel, Megan Cope, Vanessa Fuentes Spradley, Ryan Grillo, Natasha Czar, Louise, Victoria Stilley, Katie Witherington, Justin Roth, Dara Omang, Amanda Gall, Daniel Tavernet, Work Whores, what? Chris Nova, Melissa Knight, Amam Solis, Paul Carper, Music Lost in Thought, Lee Ashburn, Brian Verblau, Leslie Goodwin, Mackenzie Whalen, Shadon Smith, Laura Fallon, Lou with no last name. I hope it's that teacher that I had. Lou! Tracy Becker, Barry Sanderson, Christina with no last name, Tedder with no last name, David Drescher, like Fran, Victoria Peregrine, Kay Fletch, Kimberly Ledford, Sam Coakley, Christina Diambra, Jennifer Mentor, Nathan Balfrey, Shannon Schaefer, Sandy with no last name, Aaliyah Zimines, Rick, nope, that's Nick Rosedower, Marsha Big, Matt Giambruno, Justin Judd, Honey Helms, Matthew Martin, Michael Stewart, Matt Shiflett, Cody Cochran. That's a tough one. Amanda Jacobs, Jed Greig, Amy McFarland, Lucy End, Laura LaCour, John Oaksendahl, Melissa Khaleesi, Cartwright Derdzinski, Dispelbound? I don't know. Somebody didn't leave a name at all. Oh, you know what it was? It was all Chinese letters, and I'm not going to try to read those.
Oh,
don't
know what they are.
So that's part of their email, Dispelbound.
Oh.
Michelle Hayes, I did a creative right. Karen Harris, Samuel Moffat, Heidi Wilson, Justin Scott, Kyle Goynet, Alicia Borjali, Gaia Oliver, Grant with no last name, Dan Lenigan, Latasha Boxley, French toast mashed potatoes. That's disgusting. What the fuck? Bethany Gravel, Tanner Winaki, Bobby Grand, Melano Barrow, Darius A., Nikki Sinfield, Amanda Zilnicki, Don Murray, Libby Baxter, Shannon Baxter, Jason Lewis, Kayla Krusky, Nicholas.
Nicholas? That's the new Pamela there, Nicholas.
Nicholas Vavra.
Nicholas. is very exotic, man. Hey, Nick. No, it's Nicholas. As a matter of fact.
Oh, Jesus. Caitlin Stevenson, Sergeant Brannon, Bill Pagano, Joseph, and Bianca Bryant, Arjun, and Big Saint to you and all of our patrons. You guys are truly amazing. Thank you so much. We went out of our way for you, goddammit, because you guys mean something to us, and we want to make sure that we acknowledge it. And thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Honestly, we appreciate it more than you could possibly know. What if people wanted to appreciate you, Jimmie? Where could they possibly get that?
I'm on the internet. You guys can find me there at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you so much, really, for supporting what we're doing. And it's been a fun year, despite how awful it was.
It's been interesting. We'll say that much. It's been eventful.
Where can they tell you about
just
their
find me
year?
if you got a bat signal type thing. I prefer that in the sky or something, or you can just follow me on
cannoli in it.
Just a cannoli bat signal, just a pile of ravioli. Or you can just follow me at Jimmie P is funny and do it like that. You know how to find people on the goddamn internet. So that said, British brain damage chess champion boxers aside, weird shit. And thank you so much for joining us. And
so nice to have you.
It's so nice to have you. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.